Once Upon a Time in Huntsville podcast, hosted by yours truly, Sampley Barinaga, and my co-host here, who's already on the ground, Harrison Stone. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm doing fabulous. All right, today we have a very, very special guest. Harrison, you know what? Why don't you do the honors in introducing him, and I'll help you. I'll guide you. I'll lead you if you.
Well, I'll say that we both had the privilege to work with this guy, and we both had an absolute blast while doing it. I know for me, it was one of the most enjoyable experiences I've had.
That's not what I heard, but I know. No. I can say that we both very much loved, enjoyed working with this very wonderful independent filmmaker who we are very dependent on. Get it? Independent, dependent.
Man.
I'm just going to go ahead and say his name. Jesse Lane. What's going on, buddy?
What's going on, dude?
Nothing much, man. I'm digging the pink shirt. You got the necklace.
Hey, man.
Pants.
Pink is where it's at.
Yeah, man.
I got a pink steering wheel cover. I got the armrest thing. I got a pink fluffy armrest thing. You have no idea how many times I go through the drive-through. A girlfriend's car? Nope. So, I love my pink.
There's nothing wrong with that, man.
Hey, man.
Today, I guess we really wanted to talk. You have Mime just dropped yesterday. Was it last night?
Yes, last night.
And that was a short film that I worked on last February?
Last February.
Time flies, man. Oh, my gosh. And we shot it all in a day.
One day.
Very cold.
Yeah, pretty nippy. It was one of those types of cold where it wasn't like freezing, but the wind was going.
Yes.
So the wind was giving you like wind burn, that type of cold.
Yeah, I remember that. And then Harrison had the honor of working on a short film called Attack with you, which was that this February or January or?
We started in January, didn't we? And then we had to come back in March.
Yeah. That was
For some reshoots.
Harrison messes up all the time.
Harrison,
I didn't know a line.
he, man.
Yeah.
Jesse is actually my voice in the short.
The reshoots
I just moved my mouth.
Yeah, we pulled a Gino Carano with Harrison. We had someone else completely say all of his lines.
I just said watermelon over and over again.
You should see the deleted scenes in Green Book. All of them are just Harrison. Just
oh man,
different things.
You dare to bring up Green Book?
What if he is?
Oh man.
So before we get into talking about these awesome shorts, I kind of wanted to talk about early life. When did you figure out you wanted to be in film and this awesome industry? Was it early on in school through theater, or did you see a movie where you're like, I got to do that? Do you remember a specific point in your memory where you're like, okay, what is happening here?
Well, it's kind of weird. I grew up doing a lot of self-teaching.
Okay.
So when it came to multiple facets of life, I learned on my own, either through entertainment or just through my own accounts, really.
Yeah.
So when it came to getting into this, when I was in like third grade, I started writing stuff in class, and I would staple it together, like either comics or little books, and I would draw them. I used to draw a lot too.
Yeah.
And
would you consider yourself a good artist?
Back then.
Yeah. Because I drew all the time in the third grade.
Yeah.
And then I just have the distinct memory of like, I think one of my siblings was like, you should stop doing that. It doesn't look good.
Once I got into middle school, early high school, I was like, yeah, this ain't happening.
Yeah, this ain't it. So you said like, what kind of comics were?
I created my own terrible superhero.
Oh, that's awesome.
And so I also had one of these old school big VHS cameras that you put on your shoulder. Had 3 buttons, had zoom in, zoom out, record, and you put literal VHS tapes in them, and that's what you record on. And I still got that. I'm actually trying to work on something. I'm trying to work on something where I can utilize that.
Oh wow!
And then transfer the footage over from tape via digital. But
oh my gosh!
Yeah, I used it, and I would film. I have tons of tapes at home, just filled with random stuff. Of films I made, no scripts to those. I would just make them with my friends out at home.
Yeah, cast your friends.
No special visual effects or anything. People playing multiple people. It was pretty terrible, but at least I was doing something, I guess.
Exactly, yeah.
And then once I started getting into like fourth grade, I wrote my first script.
Oh, wow. Like feature? Or like
yeah,
short?
Yeah.
Oh, you wrote a feature in the 4th grade? Oh, my gosh.
It was... it was a sequel to it was a Terminator sequel.
That's awesome.
Oh, there you
That's
go.
awesome.
I didn't grow up with the and this is not to make my folks look bad, but I grew up watching some good stuff. Like,
Yeah.
I grew up watching like Kill Bill, Terminator, stuff that some parents wouldn't let their kids watch, but I felt I could
Absolutely.
handle it, and so I wrote a Terminator 4 script. I didn't write it in screenplay format. I wrote it in novel format.
Oh, okay.
And it was 112 pages.
Oh my
Wow.
gosh.
Yeah. And then I also had bought Filmmaking for Dummies
Oh yeah.
and Screenwriting for Dummies.
That's awesome.
So once I got Screenwriting for Dummies, I learned the format, and in 5th grade I started writing in screenplay format. And a lot of that early on stuff was fascination of characters you like, so I would write, like I wrote like 4 Spider-Man sequels.
Dude, I'm sure I could talk to you about it. The third one, I have like that is like one of my biggest guilty pleasures. Like the original.
There's some good stuff about that. Sandman in that is amazing.
Yeah, I was gonna say like
So
I love it, but then there's like so many things that could have done better. But
Topher Grace.
oh yeah,
Oh.
why?
Mm.
Like I like him, but like just bad casting.
Emo Peter.
Oh gosh.
Now dig on this.
Harrison, have you seen it?
Yes. But
Oh,
I don't
man.
remember any of this.
I had to have been like 9, and I remember walking out of the movie theater and being like, "Wow!" I think that was like one of the first times I realized, like, "Wow, movies can be bad in theaters."
That was one of my first, when I went and saw Spider-Man 3, that was one of my first big theater going experiences.
Yeah.
Because before that, I think the biggest one I'd been to was Revenge of the Sith
Oh,
back
that's
in
pretty
05,
huge.
but I didn't get it at that point.
Oh, okay.
When I was in 7th or 8th grade, Spider-Man 3 came out. That's when I realized, okay, this is what going to a big movie on an
Yes.
opening night is like. And it's only progressed since then. So,
Yeah.
I've seen bigger movies on opening night since then, like the last Harry Potter, Hunger Games, Twilight.
Wait, what'd you say?
Man, I've
Harrison
seen.
and I actually auditioned for the role of Robert.
You auditioned for Bella, right?
Edward. I did, and
Yeah.
Kristen Stewart. I think I would have done a better job, but that's neither here nor there.
Man,
different spin on it.
I remember one of the biggest opening night ones I went to though was the first Avengers.
Oh yeah,
That was
2012, right?
yeah. I was about to graduate from high school, and that was just a monster of a night. I think that's one of the funnest times I've had.
I remember when you know what, this is incredible. I actually did not see Avengers in theaters.
Oh,
I don't know
man.
why, because me and my family, because my dad would take all of us boys, and I don't know why we didn't go see it, but I think we actually went and saw The Dark Knight Rises because that came out the same summer. We went and saw that maybe 2 or 3 times.
Dude,
I
cried when the trailer came out for that.
Dude, if you scroll back on my Facebook, I would just be sharing the trailers. Be like, God, I can't wait. I'm so pumped.
And I still remember that trailer so clearly.
Yes.
It opened with the kids singing, and then Bane saying, "What a lovely voice."
Yes.
And then coming through, and then the football field collapsing. That's what
Yes.
it opened with. I was like, oh my God.
Do you remember the teaser trailer where it was Gary Oldman like on the bed
And you couldn't really understand what he was saying?
When he was like,
Yeah.
and then like it would rise and the ice was crackling into the bats. Like, yeah.
Dude, yeah.
But I remember I think for a whole, it wasn't just like the like a couple months, but for the whole school year, it was just nonstop Avengers. Oh my gosh, Avengers. So that's pretty awesome. You said you saw it opening night?
Opening night.
That's awesome.
That was fun.
Were you dressed up as Black Widow?
Oh no. Thought about it.
Yeah.
And I really enjoyed that one a lot more compared to when like I went and saw Endgame. When I saw Endgame opening night, this is gonna sound bad. The Marvel movies at that point have gotten a little old to me at that point. They were still somewhat fresh when Avengers came out, and so when Endgame happened, I just went because I knew it would be an experience.
Yeah.
But I enjoyed the first Avengers experience a whole lot more.
Oh yeah.
I enjoyed going to Iron Man 3 opening night more than I did Endgame.
Really?
Because it was still somewhat fresh. Avengers kind of, you had the multiple first phase movies, and then Avengers came out. So when Avengers hit and everyone loved it, and it was so energetic and everyone loved it and it went crazy, you couldn't wait to see what was next, and Iron Man 3 was the first one after to start phase 2.
Yeah, that's right.
So there was a lot of energy that night.
Yeah.
But then I've been in theaters when I went to go see The Vow.
Wait, is that Tatum?
Tatum and Rachel McAdams, where she loses her memory.
Oh, and she has to fall in love with him again.
That
I've never
movie
seen it.
made me
I've heard of it.
mad. I was struggling. I've only walked out of one movie, and that one wasn't it. But I was wanting to so bad.
What was the movie that you walked out on?
I walked out of Hangover 3.
I have not seen the second or third. Have you ever walked out of a movie, Harrison?
No.
Me and my mom almost walked out of. We went and saw 10,000 BC.
Oh man,
Ooh, terrible film. Me and my mom were the only one. I don't know why we went and saw that film because neither of us wanted to see it. I think it was either that or Horton Hears a Who. We should have gone with Horton.
You should have gone to see Horton.
I know.
Man.
I think because I was at the age where I was like, I'm not gonna go see an animated movie. That's for kiddies.
Yeah.
I want to go see a movie about Sabretooths. And the reason we almost left is not only because it was insanely boring, but because of the only other two people in the theater sat right in front of us and were just like on their phone and like
dude,
texting and stuff.
Can't stand that.
Yeah.
Like I've been in some boring movies, but I stuck it out. I went to go see The New World. That's 2.5 hours.
Oh yeah, you got to see that in theaters?
Yeah,
though?
I saw it in theaters.
Oh my, you're a lucky man. I actually
And see,
really
I have an
love that
appreciation for it now.
Yeah.
Back then, I was young. I was like, this is kind of boring.
I probably would have thought the same thing.
But then, Hangover, we were at the beach, so we were trying to see something fun. We had two options. We had Hangover 3 or Fast and Furious 6.
Oh wow.
So not very good options.
No.
And I was all about seeing Fast and Furious 6, and my friends were like, they outvoted me.
Yeah.
So within the first 10 minutes of Hangover 3, I was like, okay, I think I'll get through this.
Yeah.
And I admired Hangover 3 for being different.
Had you seen the other two previously?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
I liked the first one the first time I saw it.
Yeah.
After that, not so much.
Yeah.
Hangover 2, I didn't really like. Hangover 3 was totally different. So I admired that, but I thought it was awful. And it got to the last 20 minutes, I was like, I'm going to the arcade. I can't do this anymore.
That's awesome.
And I've been through some bad ones, like The Vow, or I hated Fault in Our Stars. I struggled.
I haven't seen that. I've heard I've read that a lot of people are like, actually, it was like really good. And then I've heard people that were like, that was just crap.
It has an actor I can't stand in it. So
is it
Ansel Elgort?
Ansel Elgort.
Him, and I cannot stand Timothy Chalamet.
Oh, dude, you got a buddy in Harrison. Hey, but shout out to either one of them. We'd love to work with you.
Absolutely. Hey.
Yeah.
Hey. But I can't do it. I just can't. I see his face and I can't. And now he's going to be in Dune as the lead role, and I'm just like,
oh, that's right, dude. Everyone's in that movie.
yeah, everyone.
Yeah.
Like I thought I would get a call. I was like,
Wouldn't that be nice?
Denis Villeneuve.
So I've had, I try to get, when I go to see a movie in theaters, which I think is where they should be seen.
Oh yeah,
I totally agree when Nolan talks about that.
Yeah,
'cause
for sure.
I think things are made to be cinematically shown.
Yeah.
And I've had a lot of good experiences, and the bad ones I've had some bad movies that were fun. The last Die Hard movie was atrocious.
Oh yeah.
But I had so much fun
Yeah.
in that movie. But I've seen some bad ones. I went and saw Vampires Suck on a date.
Oh, I know what that is. I watched that it's like parodying.
Yeah.
Like Twilight.
Oh my God. And then I seen all the Twilights in
gosh.
theaters. I saw. I like this director because his name's Neil Blomkamp. He did District 9, which is one of my favorite movies ever. Mm-hmm. And he did Elysium, which I liked. But then he came out with Chappie.
Yeah.
Which was about an artificial intelligence robot learning. Mm-hmm. And the first half of it, where it's literally learning, I enjoyed.
Yeah.
When it turns into something else, I was like, I tried to find reasons to make myself like it.
Yeah.
And a few days later, I was like, that really wasn't good.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I've been lucky. Most of my experiences in the theater have been good ones.
Yeah.
And I give a lot of films benefit of the doubt. Like, I'm not a harsh critic. I like a lot of stuff. Like, I think Con Air is amazing.
Dude, I'm gonna.
So
I really like Con Air too, honestly.
I find
down the bunny.
Put the bunny back in the box.
Yeah.
So I find some bad movies really enjoyable, and then I like stuff that other people don't like sometimes, or I like it more than others.
Yeah.
And so it just depends. What I really enjoy the most is when an experience really touches me or hits me.
It's like you almost forget that you're like in the theater watching a movie.
Right.
Well, I had that experience. We did La La Land last week. I had that experience with La La Land, and then another one I mentioned last week was Blade Runner 2049.
Yeah.
Did you have that? Have you seen that? Did you
Yeah,
see that
I saw that in theaters. I saw it in the theater here in Huntsville with the laid back recliners.
Yeah. Oh, I know what you're talking about. I
Yeah.
can't think of the name though. I know what you're talking about.
I saw that.
Really comfy.
I didn't realize. The only thing I'll say is I didn't realize the movie would be that long.
Oh yeah,
But I enjoyed every minute of
2:45,
it.
I think,
Yeah. But La La Land. What's funny about that? Okay. So I had just gotten out of a relationship
Oh no,
that wasn't good.
Yeah.
So it was the day after Christmas. I said, I'm going to go to the movies. Well, they weren't showing La La Land. And La La Land was being hyped up as this huge, everyone loves it. And I was like, it can't be.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go see it.
Yeah.
And I remember I went, it was the day after Christmas. It was packed. I went to see it here.
Mm-hmm.
The one that
Jones Valley?
It was the 18 theater.
Oh yeah.
Is it the Regal?
It
that
changes
what it
like
is?
every single year.
But I went to go see it. Yeah. I went to go see it, and it was nothing but couples and women.
Yep.
And I sat on the third row by myself.
So you see movies by yourself too?
I do, yeah.
As do Harrison and I. I've had countless conversations with people. Sorry to interrupt. Where they say, "Why would you do that?" And I'm just like, enjoy
I
yourself.
have more aggravating experiences with other people because I have this thing of because I'm a filmmaker, I have a respect factor for it. So
Yes.
sitting through the credits, not talking during the movie, not being on the phone even during previews. And when people are sitting there beside me, I don't care if their brightness is all the way down, that bothers me.
Oh yeah.
It takes me out of it. I'm there for an experience.
Absolutely.
No, whatever that experience is. And even if it's my best friend, it bothers me.
Yeah.
And what really bothers me is if I'm on which it hasn't been a long time, but when I'm on a date,
It's a red flag.
yeah, it really bothers me. I just want to say, hey, come on now. But they may be like, it's just a movie. And I'm like, ooh.
Oh.
Yeah. So it's that when I went to see La La Land, I didn't really know what to expect.
Yeah.
I wasn't expecting to like it.
Uh-huh.
And I sat there on the third row with my bucket of popcorn. And when the first... And I thought if I did like it, it would be because of jazz. I'm a big jazz fan.
Oh, really? Okay.
And I love old school Hollywood.
Uh-huh.
So you mix those two. And he had done... Damien Chazelle had done Whiplash, which I love. So I was like, okay, it may have some good things. Don't really like Emma Stone.
Yeah.
I love Gosling. So I was like, that's a 50-50. I don't know. So I was sitting there, and when they finished Another Day of Sun,
Uh-huh.
I was smiling like a schoolgirl.
Oh, really? That's all.
And the rest of the movie, I was just done for.
Yeah.
And then by the time I got to the ending, I was so heartbroken.
Yeah.
But I was like, that's the best thing they could have done.
Oh, yeah.
And when I left, I'd gone through some tough times because of the breakup and through some other things, and it kind of revitalized
That's awesome.
my want to continue creating.
Yeah.
And so sometimes when I get into a down mood of like, is this worth it? You putting in so much time and you're getting nothing back.
Yeah.
You go, I may pop in La La Land and just say, dude, this motivates me.
Yeah. Absolutely. That's awesome. That's awesome. I think just films are so incredible that you can just, and that's why, as you can see right here, I have to have the physical copies. I don't know if you're the same way, but just to pop them in like you're saying, and just even Harrison does this a lot. He'll just, well, I'll go over to his house and we'll just pop in scenes and just be like, watch it, look at this. It makes me so happy. Look at this, look at this, look at this, or look how terrible this is, or look how, I just think movies are just incredible, just like pick me up.
And that's what struck me as a kid. And see, I lived in the country, grew up not much money, didn't have a whole lot.
Mm-hmm.
And so it was one of these things of that was my escape.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
And so I would stay up writing on one of those old, huge computers with the loud keyboards.
Yeah.
And I would sit there and I would just write. And knowing I probably wasn't going to make these.
Do you still have like those original scripts for like Terminator 4 and stuff?
Still got them. And I have like tons of notebooks that I hand wrote scripts into.
Oh my gosh,
in
that's awesome.
In the screenwriting format, I would hand write scripts that I never typed up.
Did you see, I believe Terminator 4's Salvation with Bale.
Yes.
And then
I actually liked that one.
I think I saw that in theaters.
I
That's
did.
the one I just always think of. That's the one where he yelled at that guy.
Yes.
Have you seen that video
That
clip?
was bad.
Yeah.
And that was the one where they ruined the whole movie through a trailer.
That's right. Yeah, because it revealed Sam Worthington was a Terminator.
Dude, Sam Worthington was a big deal for about a year.
Because
he did Terminator Salvation, and then he did Clash of the Titans, which A lot of people hated.
Yeah.
And then he was in Avatar.
Yeah.
Which was probably one of the best experiences I ever had in a theater.
I remember me and my grandfather. He had never seen a movie in 3D, and he was like, "We gotta go see this."
Oh, that was the one,
me and
man.
him took, and we watched it in 3D, and I remember just like turning over and looking at him, and him just being, like he had never seen anything like that. Neither had I.
And the thing is,
but it was just so cool to see, someone of his age just be blown away.
Yeah, and people hate on James Cameron, and I understand why. But dude, he's a genius. He created Terminator.
That's right, yeah.
Which no matter what you think of where the series is now, when it first was out, Terminator 1 and 2 especially, that was special. He did Aliens, True Lies, Titanic.
Oh, True Lies is so good. I always forget about it. Yeah, he did it with Jamie Lee Curtis and Arnold Schwarzenegger. That's a good movie.
He did The Abyss, which revolutionized technology to where he could do T2's technology.
Yeah.
He's always revolutionizing, and people can hate on Avatar because it's a basic story premise. That's fine. You tell me when you're in 2009 and you're watching that film, you can't tell me that doesn't revolutionize the film industry. And I sat there and I remember watching the Oscars that year because that year was Avatar, Hurt Locker, Crazy Heart.
That's right, yeah.
It had Inglourious Bastards, had Precious.
Oh, yeah, Precious.
Toy Story 3. Yeah, Toy Story 3 was out. So everyone was thinking Avatar's going to win. District 9 was there too.
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
And I really wanted Avatar to win because it revolutionized the film industry, and it didn't. Hurt Locker won.
Yeah, Hurt Locker won for Catherine Bigelow, won for director, and then for Best Picture.
And I really still don't agree with that.
Yeah.
And I understand the opposing view.
Yeah, for sure.
But Avatar revolutionized filmmaking, and I think that's what awards should represent.
Yeah.
If a performance is revolutionary, if a screenplay is revolutionary, effects, score, the film itself, I think that's what deserves it.
In my opinion, and if you look at the Academy, they are always late on a lot of things. Like the fact that Alfred Hitchcock never won Best Director. It's just like, wait,
dude,
what? Really?
Before Gary Oldman won a few years ago, he had only been nominated once, and that was in 2011. Gary Oldman, Tinker Tailor.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. With
and
Cumberbatch,
then he won for Darkest Hour.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sitting here going, you've got people like Jean Dujardin, who no one heard of, who came in and won Best Actor at the Oscars for The Artist, the first try.
Yeah.
And then you've got Gary Oldman, who's been doing great work for years, isn't even nominated. Same with Redford. Redford's only been nominated for an acting Oscar once. And that was The Sting.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
And I'm sitting here going, some of these people, like Meryl Streep, are nominated every year.
Yeah.
And guys like Redford and Gary Oldman and people like that aren't getting their due diligence. And that's where my problems come in. But most of the time, I agree with a lot of decisions.
Oh, yeah.
The biggest ones I didn't agree with were Avatar losing. I did not agree with La La Land losing to Moonlight.
Yeah.
I like Moonlight. I thought La La Land revolutionized things.
Oh, man, yeah.
And then
technically they won for 5 seconds.
Yeah.
I say they won, and then also Moonlight won a little bit later.
But the one, like, I don't even get upset that Green Book won.
Yeah.
I liked Green Book. So
I loved Green Book too.
I didn't get upset. I didn't care for Roma. That's my whole thing. I thought it was fine. It didn't touch like Parasite, in my opinion.
Oh, yeah.
And so, but the other one that made me mad, and I think I've told Harrison this, was I can't stand Eddie Redmayne. And so when he won over Michael Keaton, that made me mad. I thought Michael Keaton really deserved that.
I think there's even in the... Is it that one? Because Michael Keaton had won the Golden Globe.
Yeah, you see him take out his speech.
Right.
You see him for the Oscars. You see him about to take it out. And then Eddie Redmayne won. What, The Theory of Everything. Actually,
that was such an Oscar movie.
Seen it.
Yeah.
It's like down there because it was like 20. It was legit 25 cents, and I was like, I'll watch it eventually.
That's what it's worth.
Yeah.
But you know, that was a rough year at the Oscars for me because also Sylvester Stallone should have won that year.
For Creed.
And they gave it to Mark Rylance.
Yeah.
And then it's like, if you're not going to give it to Sylvester, give it to Tom Hardy in The Revenant.
Oh, yeah.
And, you know, I believe that was the same year. No,
wait,
that was the next year.
Next
That's
year?
my apologies because The Revenant came out a year after Birdman.
So 2013 was Birdman.
Because Boyhood came out that year.
Whiplash. And
Okay,
then-
yeah.
And
There
then
was
what
also Wes Anderson, Great Budapest, right?
Grand Budapest, dude. Oh
Yeah,
my
that
God.
racked up
I think
that
any
year.
one of those could win, and
Yeah.
I'd be fine. And Birdman ended up winning. Yeah,
Yes.
because Alejandro also won for.
He
Best
won 2 years in a
Director.
row.
That's right. Yeah, for that, and then The Revenant the next year.
Yeah, and Lebesky won 2 years in a row.
Oh man,
Yeah.
he's good. You know what? I think his best movie is Tree of Life, and
That's a beautiful
he didn't
film.
even win.
No matter what people think of it thematically, it's
Yeah.
a beautiful film.
Oh, absolutely.
All of Terrence Malick's stuff is beautiful. It's just
Yeah.
some of it is incoherent.
Yeah, for sure. I can see why people think that. I think you need to watch it just each film a couple times, and just kind of be really open to kind of letting it just like wash over you.
Well, so many
almost.
people use film as a background tool, like
Mhm.
background noise, something to have on.
Yeah.
Because we live in a society where people don't really want silence anymore.
Oh, dude.
And
Yeah, I
so,
know. Yeah.
You know, if I'm going to put something on just for background noise, I'm going to put something on YouTube where I'm going to put maybe Family Guy or something.
Mm-hmm.
Because I've seen it so much.
Yeah.
I'm not going to, if I'm putting on a movie, I'm going to watch it.
Yeah. I have to do the
That's-
same thing.
That's my thing. And if I find myself mentally in a state where I can't fully pay attention, I don't watch it because I find it, because I do it, it's a respect factor for me.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And so, you know, like I get through spells when I work nights, so I'll
Mhm.
be there and I'll get through a spell where I can watch, like I watched The Sopranos in a week and a half.
Oh wow.
Just bam, 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 episode
Wow.
after episode.
I
And was
haven't
fully
seen it.
zoned in.
No spoils.
But then after that, I'll go for a month and can't focus enough to watch a full film.
Yeah.
But then I'll go through, like this week, I watched a few, and it's just sometimes you'll be sitting there and you'll be like, I'm feeling this movie right now.
Oh yeah. Absolutely.
And I'll go pop in like Mission Impossible
because
or something.
So Harrison and I, we like to exchange each other films a lot of the times, and so Harrison will, he gave me those this week. I watched Edward Scissorhands. I rewatched it, and then I'd never seen Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas.
I haven't seen either one.
But you should definitely check both of them out. Edward Scissorhands is like a great film.
That's
And
what
Fear
I've
and
been
Las-
told.
Fear
Yeah.
and Loathing in Las Vegas is like
Really
I thought the
weird.
first hour was actually really good, and then the second, like it was like, oh my gosh,
It's an
she's
acid
genius.
trip, right?
Apparently, yeah. Essentially, yeah, is what I'm going to say. But like this, it just becomes muddled, and
Yeah.
it's
Right.
almost like the first hour is kind of like funny,
Right.
And like you're kind of going with them, and then you're just like, I just don't like either of
It
them.
makes you uncomfortable.
Yeah, yeah.
Right.
It's the intent, but it's like which I
It's
admire.
like, yeah, I don't care about these characters. Like,
Because I
leave
really
me
do
alone.
like Terry Gilliam. Like he's
Yeah.
like a crazy. He's in his own like genius.
Well, came from Monty Python. He's got to be somewhat insane.
that's my favorite comedy.
I
of
love
all
Monty
time,
Python.
easily. The Holy Grail.
Yeah.
But what was I saying? Yeah. So Harrison will like give me these movies to watch, and I'll give him these movies to watch, and then I'll be like looking at that, and I'm like, man, I really want to watch like Memento or like Whiplash or anything
Mhm.
else but this, and I'm just like, if I watch this with that in mind, like I'm doing it a disservice. So I got to put that down and then watch all these other ones I got to
Yeah.
get out of my system. Yeah. So I totally
It's
agree with that.
it's a total respect factor, and not
Yeah.
everyone's going to have that. So I tend to watch a lot on my own. That's why when I go to things where my stuff is showing, I'm a little uncomfortable.
Oh yeah.
Not that I'm nervous that my own stuff is being shown. It's
Mhm.
like I don't know if everyone here is going to have the full respect that I would like, that I would
Yes.
that I would give. And
Yeah.
that sounds maybe, I don't know, that may sound off, I don't know, but it's just like if you're there and you're at a screening, that's
Mhm.
what you're there to do.
Yeah.
And if you're not going to fully pay attention, that bothers me.
Yeah, for sure. No, I totally get that. I think what you mentioned, how everybody needs like background noise, like whenever, and I've seen this through like different people I know, where they'll be like, let's watch a movie. Then they'll, take forever to pick one out, watch it, and then go, they pull out their phones and just like look
Ooh.
down, and they're like, look up, look down. And I'm just like, I thought we were watching a movie.
Yeah, that
Like,
bothers me.
Yeah, they made art. Like, just
Yeah.
like appreciate it for just like,
I just watch a bunch of scenes.
Yeah, Harrison just.
If
like, watches
I get into
terrible
that mood,
stuff.
I'll pull up YouTube and just say I want to see that
I
scene.
go on like movie clips.
Yeah.
It's terrible.
Yeah.
I
'Cause
mean, yeah.
If I get motivated as an actor,
Mhm.
which is what I like to do more than anything, I'll be like, okay, I'm really feeling that Gregory Peck To Kill a Mockingbird courtroom
Yeah.
scene. So
Yeah.
I'll pull it up and I'll watch it and I'm good. Or I'll say, okay, I'm really feeling Counselor, Where Are You from Cape Fear.
Uh-huh.
I'm really feeling that,
man, yeah.
and I'll just go through.
Which one do you like, Scorsese's or the original?
Scorsese's.
Scorsese's.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Who directed the original?
I don't remember, but it had Gregory Peck in
gosh.
it.
I have it
I
right
know
in
he
front
had
of me. I can
Bernard
just
Herrmann did the score, but it's essentially a J. Lee Thompson.
Oh yeah, dude, you're right, J. Lee Thompson. I
Right
gotta go
on.
with Mitchum. I gotta go with the Mitchum
Yeah, he's
version.
fantastic.
Just like
I like
by
that version.
much, yeah.
I just
Fantastic.
really love De Niro's performance, I think.
Oh, dude, he's incredible in pretty much everything he does.
But
His
all
best
of that.
role, I think we could all agree, is Meet the Fockers.
I was gonna say
Oh,
Dirty
man.
Grandpa.
Oh man, yeah, that or Little
Dirty Grandpa.
Fuckers.
Yeah, that
Nothing for Dirty Grandpa.
Dirty Grandpa. Oh yeah, with him and Efron. Yeah, now that's a revolution. They changed filmmaking. Let's talk about that for a
Man,
second.
That or the internship.
I gotta say.
Oh,
he's-
with the Hathaway. Yeah.
He's one of the best. And yeah, it's just interesting how that guy can go from doing like Deer Hunter to
You know,
these other movies.
I read Michael. I read this his biography, and he said people were asking him why he did like Jaws 3 or 4.
Oh yeah.
He said, "Oh, I'm not gonna watch it, but it paid for my house."
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, you just got to do that stuff sometimes.
You know, I feel the same way with Coppola because he did all these masterpiece films,
Mhm.
and then he started doing Jeepers Creepers.
I didn't. Wait, he directed that?
He did some sequels to Jeepers
Really?
Creepers. Yeah.
Oh wow.
I saw that he's been getting ready to do like this futuristic film that's kind of like a combination with Metropolis with like Blade Runner with I think Jude Law is
Really?
like, attached.
I hope he does something. It's been a while.
Let me check.
been a long
It's
time.
been a long
It's been a while.
time.
What did he do? He did that with the what's his face? The Han Solo actor. What's his name?
Oh,
He
I
did
know
that
Alden
movie.
Hercraik or
Aiden
something.
Erlenreich.
Yeah, yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah,
He
you're
did that movie with
thinking-
him.
Wait, what movie did he do with him? Solo?
Tetro. I don't know.
I'm
I know
I'm
it wasn't
pulling him
Hail
up
Caesar.
right now.
no,
Hail Caesar was Cohen's.
It's like Tetro. However you say
Let's see. Oh, so the one I'm talking about is Megaopolis. Jude Law. Hey, I was
that. Is that
looking
still
at
like in production or like in pre-production or development?
Let's see. It says it's just been announced. It says production status announced. So
and
I
that's
don't know.
Coppola.
Yeah, Francis.
Wow.
Yeah.
Good
So-
I
for
feel like
him.
that's been a long time coming. Unfortunately, I hope it happens.
Yeah, I do too. But that all around aspect of the respect for everything and just being transported, I guess that's kind of what got me into it when I was younger.
That's awesome.
And what was weird is I never saw myself as an actor,
Okay.
but I would be in my stuff
Mm-hmm.
because it just felt natural to
Yeah,
me.
because you got it. Plus, saves money, right?
Right. And so as I got older, my writing diminished and I became more of a jock type of personality.
Okay.
And I was baseball 24/7.
Really?
Yeah, I was a pitcher and that's all I did all year.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah, and I was going to go to college. After junior year, I hurt my arm.
Yikes.
And I came back, did senior year, hurt it again. And then it was kind of like a burnout factor, and I had nothing. I was like, I don't know what to do. And I had different ideas, but none of them were really clicked for me.
What, like when you're looking for all these other options in that moment, were you, in the back of your mind, were you thinking filmmaking's not an option just because of the location I live in, or?
Partially, it's a thing where my friends joke on me on this, but my whole life, they'll joke and say, you act like your life's a movie. I do look at things in more of a cinematic light.
Yeah, for sure.
I do believe in dreams. I believe in hope. And I've had a dream. I had a literal dream when I was a kid. And I've seen it clearly in my head since I was a kid.
Yeah.
Of my name in lights one day. And that sounds ego-driven. That
No,
sounds
I
whatever.
totally understand.
But that has been in my head this whole time. And even when I was doing sports, I still thought about it. But I thought, I'm not going to make it in that.
Yeah.
You know, especially where I'm at and what I'm trying to do. I remember we didn't have drama, but 1 year, I think, of my high school.
Oh, really?
And
Okay.
they did Sleepy Hollow for the school. I hated it.
Doing the theater aspect.
Yeah,
of
I was
that?
like, that's stupid.
Were you an actor in it?
No. I was like, that's stupid.
You started
This
your
is
own like
stupid.
newspaper critic. It's just like
I was sitting there and I was like, I don't want to watch this. This is garbage. That's what I thought. And then, you know, I've done tons of shows now, so
Yeah,
it's weird.
I kind of had the same experience. I remember seeing in the seventh 7th or 8th grade, we went to Huntsville High. Are they the big theater ones, or is it Grissom?
Lee.
Hollywood Huntsville was a big one. Are you talking about
No,
high
like
school?
the high school. What's
Oh,
the high school that's
I don't know.
huge? One of these
I feel like it's Lee.
is it maybe Lee? We went to Lee. I was at the time I was in public school at Buckhorn, and we went and watched. They did The Wiz, and I remember sitting there and being like, kind of like you, like, this is not good.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to do stuff like this. And like, no offense to like any of those actors or anything, because I mean, they've never had.
It was just our
real training or
mindsets back
anything.
then.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I saw 3 shows before I really started acting on stage.
Mm-hmm.
One of them was Sleepy Hollow when I was a freshman. Another one was in middle school. We went to Florence, which was the big acting school where I'm at, to see an Alice in Wonderland play.
Oh,
And when it wasn't like the Disney movie, I immediately checked out.
was it more, or is it like the novel's pretty similar to the animated film?
It was
or?
different.
Oh,
I don't know what script they used, but I just hated it. And I remember our teacher was like, "Yeah, that was pretty rough." and then after I graduated, I went to go see Hairspray.
Okay.
And I remember getting asked to go, and it was a last minute thing. I was going because I was going to see a female who I was kind of interested in, and I thought, "Oh, we're just going to someone's house to watch the movie."
Oh, the John Travolta one.
And we showed up to this big theater, and I look like a hot mess.
Oh yeah.
I look awful. And we get in there, and we're sitting on the upper deck, and I just hated it.
Where was that?
It was in Florence at the Shoals
okay.
Theater. It was packed. For years,
Wow.
that was the highest selling show. It broke the ticket sales for like 5 years before another show did. And I remember being there, and it was packed out, and we were on the upper deck, and I just was miserable.
Do you have any experiences like this, Harrison, where you had to watch some like early high school, middle school theater?
I still do. No. No, well, I'm going to be perfectly honest here. I really did. I love reading plays, and I love doing scenes from plays.
Mm-hmm.
But there's nothing I would rather do. Nothing I would do anything more than have to go watch any sort of theatrical production at all.
Yeah.
Hey, I get that. I have a
Yeah.
hard time watching shows. I like being in them on stage.
Okay.
I have a hard time watching them.
Do you like reading a lot of plays too?
I have a ton of plays.
Yeah. Who's your guy, main guy or author that you just go to? Williams, Miller, Chekhov?
I don't really like a lot of the classic works.
Really?
Yeah, I like modern day style of writing.
Okay.
So there's a play called Blackbird that they actually made a movie of called Una with Ben Mendelsohn and Rooney Mara.
Yeah.
The play is haunting. Jeff Daniels did it twice on Broadway.
Oh yeah, he's great.
And one time he did it with Michelle Williams. And
Really?
The other time
Oh,
was with
wow.
Allison Pill. I love that play. I love John Patrick Stanley, who
Okay.
did Doubt.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, I haven't seen that.
Yeah,
I haven't seen the film.
That's
anyways.
probably my favorite play I've read.
Do you like Sam Shepard? I feel like you would really.
I
like
haven't
Sam
read any
Shepard.
Sam Shepard plays,
dude,
actually.
I think knowing you would love Sam Shepard and
And-
all the other stuff you like.
Yeah, other people have told me that. I don't know. I just haven't.
Do you like David Lynch as a director?
I do. I do and I don't. Let's put it that
okay,
way.
then Sam Shepard is like David Lynch if he were a playwright because it just
He does some weird stuff.
it's really
Is it very art house? Art house for stage, I guess.
I'm trying to think. Okay, it's just very. Let me describe to you this one play. I just was like, when I was in Texas last year, I was like, I had a big collection of his plays just all in one book. And I was like, I'm just gonna read them all. I read like True West, Buried Alive.
He wrote True
Buried
West?
Child.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Buried Child. Sorry.
Yeah,
and what's
yeah.
the other?
Curse of the Starving
Curse of
Class.
the Starving Class, which is really good. And then, have you read like the rock and
La
roll sci-fi
No,
opera?
I know what that one is.
It's
Yeah,
so
I
weird.
briefly read a little bit of that. I was like, what is this?
When I start something, I have to finish it.
Right.
And that's something I actually was like, I don't know if I can finish this, but I muscled my way through. It's definitely not
Yeah.
for me. I'm sure a lot of people enjoy it. But it's like, they have guitars and like
No, I know what you're
fight,
talking about. Yeah. Yeah, I can't
and
remember the name
it's
of
like
it.
set in the future, and it's just like,
Yeah.
but he like has made up his own slang for these characters in the future.
Yeah. It's
You
hard to
should
read,
it.
too.
It's really hard to read.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
You should just read it just to read it. But
Sure, Sampley. Sure, Sampley.
You've really
Yeah,
pitched it
does
to
sound
me.
Interesting.
yeah, I actually let someone
can't wait
borrow
to.
that collection of plays. I haven't gotten it back.
Oh, really?
It's been
Dude.
like a month. I'm like, I want it back.
I don't let anybody borrow my stuff like that.
I think I'm gonna have to stop. Not with Harrison. No, we're pretty
Man, I don't
good.
trust Harrison at all.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's also true.
Well,
He's a sneaky little devil.
I'm gonna be honest. I mean, I will say, just Sampley has let me borrow his movies, and they've sat on my shelf for periods of time.
Harrison won't watch him. He held a copy of The Wrestler for a year. I just wouldn't watch it. I said, Harrison,
Dude,
just watch it. It's a great movie. Oh, you love
that's
it?
personally, that's the best performance I've ever seen in a film, ever.
Oh, and kind of what we were talking about before with like the whole Oscar robs, like
Yeah, that
Sean
made me. That
Penn.
was ridiculous.
because it's funny
Come
because
on. If anybody else should have gotten it beside him, it should have been Langella.
You
or
know,
Frost Nixon.
when the guy who wins it goes up there and says, because I think he even says, "Oh, Mickey, like I thought that was yours."
It
or
should have
whatever."
been.
Yeah, I love stuff like that.
That happens with films that should have won too, like Crash winning over Brokeback Mountain.
I haven't seen Crash.
Crash is-
wait, who's the star of that?
Matt Dillon's
Matt
in
Dillon,
it. Tandy
that's
Newton's
right.
in it.
Yeah.
But it's that happens sometimes. A lot of people
Yeah.
thought that with Green Book. A lot of people thought Roma deserved
Yeah,
it.
yeah, that's
you know?
for sure.
Yeah.
Oh, what were your thoughts on last year's? Because it was Parasite, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood,
Yeah,
1917.
1917,
Joker,
and then what was the other one?
Little Women.
Oh,
was in
Marriage
there.
Story.
Marriage Story,
And
Little
was
Women.
Little Women nominated?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, and Ford versus Ferrari. Yeah, I think we all. And
Well, I'm
Parasite.
getting sick of how the
That's it.
award shows are.
Yeah.
I think it's a respect factor. You're there to celebrate that year in that art form.
Mm-hmm.
And for you to get up there and be political, yes, you have that right. But
Yeah.
that bothers me. I would go up and thank the people that helped me and everything like that. I'm not trying to. I'm there to have fun, first
Yeah.
off, and to celebrate the art.
Yeah, I always feel bad when like an actor wins and they don't mention like their agent or like or the casting director.
Yeah.
I'm just like, oh man, come on, give him some credit.
Yeah, and I don't like everything becoming so political. It doesn't have to be.
Yeah.
That's my whole thing. We're there to celebrate an art form.
yeah,
and
for
it's
sure.
gotten hard to watch.
What was your favorite film?
Last year,
Was it 1917?
1917, hands down, and that shocked me
Yeah.
because so it was weird. I went through a couple spells. So I loved The Irishman when it first came out.
Yeah, that's. Oh, that was nominated
Yeah.
too. Yeah.
Hardly won anything. Won
I don't think
visual
it won-
effects.
I don't think
no,
it-
1917 won visual
Yeah.
effects. I don't know if Irishman won
I
anything.
don't think it won a single award.
Man,
It was probably
um,
so long. I'm gonna be honest. I bet a lot of people did not even watch it because it was
See,
so
that's
long.
ridiculous. That
Yeah.
movie flew by for me,
Mm-hmm.
and I would have watched 3 more hours.
I actually, I
thought
was
it was
like, I'm
great.
gonna have to break this up, but I ended up watching in one sitting because I was like, I have to finish.
It's a
this.
masterclass.
Yeah, for sure.
You'll never see those actors with that director again.
Oh, that's sad. Don't say
Yeah.
that.
And it was just
De Niro didn't even get nominated.
no.
Oh,
I thought
that's
De Niro
right.
should have been.
But
I
Pesci
thought
and
De Niro
Pacino
could've-
did.
Pacino and Pesci. Yeah, that's
I
right.
really am glad Pesci did.
How
Pesci
did,
blew
how
me
did
away.
De Niro not get nominated for that? I think that's some of his. Like that's
Him
one,
and
that could be
Sandler,
his
man.
top
Sandler is the
5.
one that really bothered me.
I thought-
he should have got nominated.
Because when I saw his performance in theaters, I went and saw that by myself, and I was like, my word, Adam Sandler's
Yeah.
gonna win an Oscar, and then he didn't
He's
even
great.
get nominated. Which kind of
He won the Independent Spirit Award,
Yeah,
and his
yeah,
speech
that's
was
right.
amazing.
Oh, I watched it. Yeah, it was
amazing.
hilarious.
But if you want people to watch, put Adam Sandler, nominate him. People are going to watch it.
Yeah.
The everyman are going to watch it.
Yeah.
Because so many people are tired of watching, as they call the elite Hollywood celebrities,
Mm-hmm.
and their opinions. And it's just like, well, put more things that are more everyman in there. That's why they extended the number of films they could have for Best Picture.
Yeah,
And they didn't do it. They did it for Black Panther.
Mm-hmm.
But, when they first did it, they could have put Harry Potter in there.
Oh yeah, for
and they
Deathly
didn't.
Hallows. I
Yeah.
remember a lot of people freaking out
I
about
thought
that.
Part 2 should have been nominated for Best Picture.
Yeah.
You have films like that, and they don't put them in there, and it's like, what's the point of that? And now they're scaling back down to 4 or 5.
Do you remember why they started that? Is because The Dark Knight wasn't nominated.
Right.
The Reader was
Yeah.
nominated, and then Slumdog Millionaire, which ended up winning.
I think, was The Visitor nominated with Richard Jenkins? Because he was.
Possibly, and then Frost and Nixon
Frost
was
and
nominated.
Nixon.
So all these movies
Small.
that are, yeah, it's just like,
Winter's Bone.
oh, that's right, yeah.
But then, for a couple years, they did okay. They put Up in there one year. They put Toy Story 3 in there one year.
Yeah.
But still, even when you look at that, you go, well, that's nominated for animated film, too.
Yeah.
Give me something that is bigger or that is more everyman.
Mm-hmm.
Like I had a problem with Logan not being in there.
Yeah, that's a really good movie. I saw that in theaters with a buddy of mine, and I was like, I'm not really sure. And then it took like maybe a month for it to like, it just wouldn't leave my mind. Yeah. Have you ever seen a movie where you're just like, it was okay, and then after a month or two, you're still thinking about it? You're just like, oh my god.
That's why with Moonlight for me, because everyone raved about it, and the first time I saw it, I was like, it's all right, and then it just stuck with me.
Yeah.
But there's some that I've seen and I loved, and I don't get why they didn't get more. The Lighthouse got one nomination
for cinematography.
Yeah,
I thought
Willem Dafoe.
Win.
When is he gonna win
he
one?
Is so good in that. I like that Pitt one though. I enjoyed his performance in that. But man, if Dafoe was nominated, I think I'd pull for him to win.
I had a problem with a few years ago. Prisoners not even getting nominated, but for cinematography, I love Prisoners.
Nuts.
Sicario got nothing. Arrival got some stuff.
Yeah, Arrival
thankfully.
Finally got some suspense.
Blade Runner should have been nominated for Best Picture.
Dude,
yeah.
It should have. I remember actually we were at the Oscar party for Hollywood Huntsville, like whenever that was going out, and everyone was like, who do you think's gonna win? I was like, Blade Runner should win. They're like, that's not even nominated. I was like,
what should win?
Should win.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so last year, I loved when the nominations came out because so many critics hated Joker.
Yeah.
I love Joker. I think it's
I've
a
only
masterpiece.
Seen it once.
I think it's a masterpiece, and I
I
understand
saw it in
why.
Texas.
I understand why people don't.
Yeah.
I think it is. And I love the idea of either whether it's a comedic actor or a comedic director doing something different. And Todd Phillips coming from doing the Hangover trilogy and Old School to doing Joker.
Kind of like Peter Farrelly with Green Book.
Right.
He does all the... That's like becoming more popular today, especially with the actors like Adam Sandler.
Steve Carell and Foxcatcher. Stuff like that.
He crushed that, actually. I watched that earlier this year. Oh, he's terrifying in that, actually.
And it's just a thing of... I thought Joker was marvelous.
Mm-hmm.
And at times it was super straightforward, but that's what it needed to be.
Yeah.
And, every year there's always one I find to be overrated.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's a couple I don't watch. I haven't watched Little Women, nor do I care to.
As
bad as that sounds, I love Florence Pugh, and I love Saoirse Ronan, but I don't care. I just don't care.
Man, because I don't think I cared going into it, and then I was like...
And I can't stand Timothée Chalamet.
Oh yeah, then he's in it a lot. No,
yeah.
Maybe you should skip out then.
And then I thought Marriage Story was a little overrated.
Yeah.
I think it's
seen it, Harrison?
Yes.
I think it's really good, and I love Adam Driver. But I was like, you know what? I've seen this before.
Yeah.
Blue Valentine, I thought did it better.
Oh, dude.
That's
one of my favorite films.
Blue Valentine is like 5 times better.
Where is it?
Not
it's
a
up
fan.
here somewhere.
And I'll say this.
Right there,
I think Place Beyond the Pines, done by the same director, is better than Blue Valentine.
How do you say his name? Derek Cianfrance?
Cianfrance.
Yeah, oh, he's got that new show with Mark
Ruffalo.
Ruffalo.
Which is true with Mark Ruffalo. He's playing 2 different characters. Ruffalo is.
And
identical twins.
You see some of these directors doing that now, too. Nicholas Winding Refn has a show with...
Miles Teller.
I haven't seen it. Is that good? Have you seen it?
I haven't watched it yet, but I plan on it.
I plan on it too
because I love Drive.
Oh, dude, I want a jacket like that so badly. I kind of was like, me and my girlfriend watched it I've seen it. I had seen it 3 times previous, and I was like, you should watch this movie. And at the end of it, she was like, she just like loved it, and I was like, yeah, I'd love that jacket.
That was one that got
that
got no love. That got no love at the Oscars. Albert Brooks didn't get nominated. The film didn't get nominated. That just, I don't get it sometimes.
Yeah.
Like everyone loved Black Panther. I thought it was fine. I thought Infinity War was better.
I have not seen I have not. 'Cause what you're saying before, like kind of the Marvel movie was getting stale. I think it was like I haven't seen Black Panther, one of the Ant-Mans, and then I Captain Marvel, and then I hadn't. There's a bunch I haven't seen.
Well.
What's the other one that came out before that? Like, I can't remember. But, yeah, I totally get that, like, stale impression.
Yeah. And, I was sitting here going when I saw Black Panther nominated, I'm like, first off, I think Logan's better.
That did come out in the same year.
Yeah,
Wow.
and then I'm sitting here going, also, Dark Knight didn't even get nominated for Best Picture.
Yeah.
And it's way better than Black Panther.
Yeah.
Like, I don't, so it's... Last year, when Joker got all those nominations, I loved it because I knew critics would hate it. And
it won for.
They did.
He obviously won for Phoenix,
deservedly.
And then
it won Score, which was
Score.
Haunting.
I was trying to think. Did it win for something else? Did it win for? No. What
it was.
It
had the most nominations.
What won for editing? Do you remember?
Editing was 1917.
It was.
Yeah.
Wait, really?
Because they made those takes.
It is funny.
They made those long takes
I
combined.
guess so.
See, I thought
That editor was like,
Irishman.
yes, I've got like 5 edits this movie.
I thought I thought Irishman was going to win editing because of
I did
all
too.
the stuff they did.
Yeah, or even Parasite. Parasite is
Parasite won the 4 big ones.
Yeah.
You know, it won international, it
I
won
actually-
director, screenplay, and picture.
I
So,
actually went to see. I was in New Orleans at the time, and I went and saw it by myself because I had a late call time that day, and like I was kind of going in there like, it's one best picture. It has to be pretty good, but at the same time, I'm a little hesitant because whenever everyone's like it's amazing, because I don't want to go in there with high expectations and then it just be like, eh. I was like, man, this is actually a really amazing film. The only problem I have with it, I'll say, and I'm not going to spoil it, is like the last like 2 to 3 minutes I did not like, but everything else before
Sure.
then is just like, wow, you got to watch it, man. It's
Yeah.
great.
Jojo Rabbit was the other
Oh
one.
yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Which I surprisingly liked.
I thought
I thought the
would-
kid in that was phenomenal.
Oh, I thought he might get a nomination because he
him and the
crushed it.
girl.
Yeah.
Oh, we didn't talk about Waves too. Waves should have.
Oh my gosh.
Waves got nothing.
What
People
should've-
thought it would get cinematography.
It could have gotten Best Supporting Actor with Kelvin Harrison Jr.
Or
Dude
Sterling
from-
K. Brown.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought, dude, or even the girl. She's
Yeah, yeah.
Emma. What's her name?
Oh
I have
yeah.
it right over here.
A24 does no wrong in my opinion. They're my favorite studio.
What's her name? Taylor Russell.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
That was a great movie. I can't believe that didn't get any.
me and my
love.
girlfriend actually, Erin, we watched it last week, and she was blown away. She was like, "I've never
Yeah.
seen a film like that."
Yeah.
I was like,
Yeah.
"It's beautiful, isn't it?"
It's really.
Well, I was actually wrong twice at the Oscars last year. Because when they first came out with nominations, I said, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood's going to get this. Because Tarantino, this may be one of his last big movies.
Yeah.
And it's a love letter to Hollywood. It's about time he wins something, right? And then when that didn't happen, I saw 1917, which was my favorite film, surprisingly,
Yeah.
get all this love. I was like, okay, it's going to get it. And then I also thought Klaus was going to win animated.
I haven't seen it. Oh, is that on Netflix?
Yeah.
Okay. I haven't seen
Klaus.
that. Oh, Toy Story 4
Yeah.
ended up winning.
Klaus blew me away.
Really? I gotta check it out then.
Yeah.
What were your top 3 last year? Top
1917 was 1.
5? Okay.
Joker was 2. Klaus was 3.
Oh wow. I gotta
Um,
really check it out.
and then I probably have to put in there Irishman
Mm-hmm.
and I don't know. That's a tough one.
What about you, Harrison?
Little Women was my favorite movie of the year. Funny enough, I don't know why.
That's awesome.
Such a sucker for that movie. But Waves, big fan of Waves.
Mhm.
Big fan of Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Didn't Endgame come out?
It
I
did.
really enjoyed
It did.
that. Not a huge Marvel fan,
exactly.
but I really enjoyed the experience of
I
it.
remember because I saw it before you, and I was like, dude, actually, like, it's just a fun movie. Like, don't go
Yeah.
in and try to nitpick. Just like,
Yeah.
just watch some awesome
I-
just action.
I will say I really, 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 really wanted to like Lighthouse like crazy,
Mm-hmm.
and I just thought it was okay.
Oh,
But
you know what movie that we would feel the same about that is Ad Astra.
See, I haven't seen that one yet, but I love me some Brad.
That-
so.
I wanted
we did
so
too.
badly
and we
to want
went
that
into
like
there
that
like this is
movie.
gonna be really good, and
But
like
then it was
we knew
not.
it was gonna be a slow burn, and
Yeah.
we're both okay with slow burns, but it was like
not.
it was
It-
almost. I hate to say this, but it was. I don't know. Maybe I need to see it again, but it almost was kind of like
It tried.
into
Yeah.
itself a little bit.
Yeah,
too
it
much.
got like it got 2 sound nominations.
The cinematography was
Oh, the cinematography.
amazing.
Hoyt van. How do you say his name? Hoyt
Didn't he
van
do
Dam?
Dunkirk?
He did Dunkirk.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
Her.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great cinematography.
Yeah.
Brad Pitt is fantastic.
really good.
He's
well,
in his peak. I
the
mean,
director had such a tough time with Brad Pitt trying to figure out his process.
Uh-huh.
He called David Fincher and said, "He's so subtle. What do I need to do?"
Yeah, that's awesome.
he's I mean,
You know, even though Brad won last year, which I'm glad, I thought he wasn't the best out of that category.
that
I
was
thought
a
Tom Hanks was great.
crazy category.
yeah, that was stacked.
You know, I thought Pacino and Pesci both. You know,
just give them all the trophies.
yeah, they gave it to
Charge a guy
Brad.
with a gun.
They gave it to Brad because it was his time.
Yeah.
Like
oh, yeah,
when
for
Leo
sure.
won for The Revenant, was that his best performance?
No.
No, but it was his time.
Yeah.
Joaquin, I think this may be his best, even though him and the Master was,
Oh, I think I would,
Yeah.
I would
But-
side with the master. For
but,
his best performance, yeah.
it was his time.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, before long it'll be Michael Fassbender's time.
and my time,
yeah,
right, guys?
hopefully.
Simply, no.
The next one I'm waiting on is Willem Dafoe. That's what I'm waiting on next.
Yeah,
That's the
hopefully,
next
hopefully.
one. So, hopefully, that happens.
And if they don't, it's just like who cares? Because
Yeah.
Kubrick didn't win one.
I don't.
right,
I
Hitchcock
think
didn't win one.
I really enjoy watching them, but I don't. I used to value them a little bit more than I do now. Now
Yeah.
it's just like, you know what, the experience of being a part of a great movie and like making something that is lasting is way more important than any award you could win.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
You know?
I think one of the a problem that I have with how they go down is if you don't win, then you're a loser. It's like, what? No,
No.
it's still an incredible film.
right.
I mean, you look. Who remembers? Like, tell me who won in 1982. You know what I
have
mean?
No idea.
But you remember.
Actually, it was.
Oh,
Yeah.
I don't know.
No, but you can remember all like the movies that last or the movies that don't.
Exactly,
You know,
yeah.
like the big one everybody talks about is Raging Bull over Ordinary People.
Sure.
That's
and
right,
like,
yeah.
I mean, I watch Raging Bull.
Oh,
so-
what beat Taxi Driver?
Oh, Network. But
That's-
apparently Network is very good.
Wait, I thought
haven't seen
Network got
Network.
beat out too.
Network beat
Network
Taxi Driver
won.
and
No,
Rocky.
No, Rocky.
Rocky beat
Rocky
Network?
won. Rocky won that year.
Oh well.
Rocky did win.
Yeah, that's right.
Wow.
Well, it's just like, you know, people remember The Revenant over Spotlight. People remember
Yeah.
Saving Private Ryan over Shakespeare in Love.
Well, I think Thin Red Line should have won that year.
Yeah, me too. I'm in that category as well.
People remember Castaway more than Gladiator a lot of the time when
Yeah.
it comes to
That's
performance.
interesting.
Gladiator is such
So-
a dad movie.
Hey, I dig
Name-
some Gladiator, man.
Name me. I know I do
Yeah,
too. But
you-
name me
you
one
have a
dad
poster,
that does
right?
not like that
Yeah.
movie.
I do have the poster.
Yeah.
Every single dad loves Gladiator. That and Armageddon.
That's
right.
not-
I have
I
yet
hate
to find
Armageddon.
it. Me too. But my dad loves it.
I hate that song.
Oh, Steven
Aerosmith.
Tyler's.
I hate that song.
What is that
Haven't.
song?
Don't want to miss a thing.
Sweet Emotion.
Don't want to miss a thing.
Don't want to miss a thing. You're right.
I hate that song.
Cause I miss you, baby. and I don't want to miss.
Wait, how does it go, Sampley?
Please don't make him repeat it.
Oh wait. Let me say my top 5 real quick last year because
Okay.
you forgot one. My number 1 was A Hidden Life.
Oh
my-
wow.
Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Right. Can I
Waves.
change my answer, teacher?
Um,
no, my 100%. I didn't. I watched it this year, so I didn't see it last year. But like
That's
100,
right, yeah.
like A Hidden Life for me was like 10 times better than any movie that I saw last.
I would
it,
agree,
It just
yeah.
blew me away.
Yeah.
Blew me
did you
away.
get a chance to see
No, I read some reviews on it and people thought it was boring. But it
Dude.
looked. I heard it was the best Malick film since. True
I don't know
Life.
what the heck they were
So-
watching, but it
Yeah.
was not boring.
It's
I've gotta watch it. It's got that dude who's always a Nazi.
Yeah. But this
August-
time,
Always a
but this
Nazi.
time he's not. He's a good guy.
August.
Yeah.
August the Hidden Fire.
Yeah.
I don't know how do you say their
Man,
names.
his performance is amazing.
Yeah,
The
I thought
poor
her
lady
and
plays
him.
his wife is amazing. I don't know her name. It's incredible. That's such an incredible movie.
Let me see.
Sorry, I can't believe I forgot
Their
that.
names aren't even on the thing.
Yeah.
Well, that's cool that you had a different one because so many people nowadays they go with what they don't have their own personal opinion.
Oh
They
yeah.
go with what is good to go with.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. The popular opinion.
Yeah, and it's like, dude, if you like something, you like something. There's nothing wrong with it.
That movie's amazing.
But another one that really touched me. I was going into it being like, it's gonna be kind of cheesy and that's okay. And you know what? You could kind of say it was still, but A Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood like shook me.
It's a beautiful movie.
I was just like,
It's not for the.
it's-
It's not for the cynical.
exactly. It's so simple, yet it's just like, just him the whole time, just being like, this is a character he's playing,
Mhm.
but he was really that genuine person who wanted to help people.
It's a
Like,
beautiful film.
and also how they did the exteriors.
Amazing.
Did you see it?
No, I
they did
didn't.
all the exteriors, like
The
little
puppets.
felt and puppet and stuff. Like
Oh,
so,
wow.
whenever it cuts to like a car driving, it's like a fake car, and it's like
Oh,
It's like
wow.
watching the Mr.
Huh.
Rogers
yes.
show.
So I really and
Huh.
I was like, when they first did that, I was like, they better not bail on that.
Yeah.
And they didn't, and I was like, all right, that's
It's a
pretty.
beautiful
Oh,
film.
and then what's the other? Oh, Uncut Gems is probably. I rewatched it
great
the other day
film.
on Netflix. I was like, yeah, that's gonna go in my top 5.
Hard watch. What a great film.
Yeah, that's a stressful one, man.
They really build up the chaos of it and the tension. There's times where people are just talking over one another, and the score is as loud as
Yeah.
the sound,
Really?
and
Yeah.
it really puts you in a state of dismay of just like, And then times you just want to tell these people to shut up.
Yes.
Especially Adam Sandler.
Yes.
But the thing that Sandler does so well is he has this amazing everyman quality about him,
Yes.
that he is such a terrible person.
But
you root for
You're
him.
kind of just like, come on, buddy, stop. Like,
It's like watching one of the best performances I've ever seen was Walter White in Breaking Bad.
oh yeah,
So he is a terrible, terrible human being at times.
yeah.
I cheered for him the whole way through.
Oh, absolutely.
He was
Yeah.
my guy.
Rewatching it, me and Erin just rewatched it because she had never seen it. I'd
Oh,
only
man.
watched through the season 1. So honestly, getting to watch her watch that was
Yeah.
like even better because she was just like you haven't seen it, so I'm not going to spoil anything. But I'll just say this: like, ding, 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 ding. Like after that happened, she legit like stood up off the couch and was like, "What just happened?" Like I'd never seen her do anything like that before. It's amazing.
Those last 8 episodes.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, some of the best things I've ever seen.
Absolutely.
Ever.
Were you raising?
I was gonna go back to Uncut Gems for a second.
Oh, yeah?
Let me go back to Breaking Bad.
Uh-huh.
Apparently, Adam Sandler and Daniel Day-Lewis are buddies.
Yeah.
Funny
That's
enough.
great.
And
That is
apparently, Day-Lewis texted Sandler and was like, "Dude, you had me so stressed out during this movie. Great job."
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. Like
Dude.
that. What a random combination that is.
Yeah.
Well, you know about how Anthony Hopkins hand wrote Bryan
Yeah.
Cranston a letter
So
saying, "You
Yeah.
are the best I have ever seen." Imagine getting that.
this is the sample.
Actually, that's funny. I just watched Silence of the Lambs for the first
I
time.
watched it a couple weeks ago.
So, did you watch-
amazing
was
movie.
that the first time?
No,
Oh,
I've
okay.
seen it, but
This was-
I learned something new every time I watch it.
This was the first time I watched it, and I, like I was saying before, people overhype movies and stuff like that. So I was like, I'm just in the mood to watch a good thriller. As soon as that camera pans and you see him, I was like, in my heart, I was scared.
But you know what? In my opinion, he's not the best part of that movie.
really, who would you say the
Buffalo Bill.
best? Buffalo Bill.
He
What?
makes that.
Yeah,
he is terrifying.
He's pretty terrifying. Rub the lotion on your skin.
And the
or
scene
else
where
you
he's
get the hose
dancing?
again. Oh, dude, that I almost had to skip that. Like,
It's
'cause I
hard.
was like reaching. I was like, no, you got to watch it. That's
You've got to.
terrifying.
And Jodie Foster's great too, but
Oh, yeah.
I just think of that movie and I think Buffalo Bill because he is terrifying.
Yeah.
And that is a thriller horror movie that is done in such a good dramatic way of creating something unique. And you can see so many thriller horrors and they're just garbage.
Oh yeah.
And if that movie would have been done in a different kind of way, it would have been garbage.
Oh, for sure.
But it swept up Oscars that year. It
Yeah,
won Best Picture, it won Best Actor and Actress.
I thought, I can't even think of the actor's name, but he should have been nominated.
He should
wasn't.
have. He was
I
hardly
don't know
in it.
how
he
was.
does all sorts of creepy stuff. To my
He was in
knowledge.
Shutter
yeah.
Island.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah, that's
Mhm.
where else I'd seen him. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
He-
Scorsese.
I
always
think he
forget
was in a
Scorsese
war
did
movie
that.
too, maybe Black Hawk Down.
Yeah.
Was that Ridley Scott? Yeah.
That was Ridley Scott.
I haven't seen that in a long time.
It's one of my favorite war movies.
Man, I just love how this is like one of my favorite things to do. Just talk about movies, man.
Oh yeah.
Like, cause whenever I was like, I have like on my note card it says, talk about influences / films. And
Cool,
then it
man.
says Mime
Hey,
and
man.
Attack, because I knew that
Yeah.
once we started talking about movies, like,
There we
I
go.
didn't need
my
to
whole
be
thing
looking at a
is-
note card.
My whole thing is I'm a people don't really ask me a lot, to be honest, about what I think about things.
Really?
So when you said you want to have me on here, it was pretty awesome because I think people just assume how I think
Yeah.
because I present myself a certain way.
Uh-huh.
I'm a very private person
Yeah.
with my personal
To be
life.
honest, I actually meant to message another Jesse, but then I kind of just went with it.
Right on. And so, hey man, hey, I'll take what I can get.
Hey, there was a different Harrison too,
Opportunist.
man. I just ended up here somehow.
So I just, when people actually ask me questions, I enjoy it because there have been people in the past, I won't say who, that we all know, who know me, like me fine, and then they'll hear me actually talk about things and they go, I didn't know you had such insight about things or you knew this. I'd like to work with you. And I'm like, and it's like what I tell anybody.
Yeah.
Like when they think I'm a certain way, especially personally.
Mhm.
I say, if you just ask me, I'll tell you.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
you're
I don't-
pretty transparent.
I don't put myself out there when it comes to personal things. I try to keep it
Yeah.
private.
I think kind of transitioning over to like Mime and Attack. Let's talk about Mime first,
Okay.
is because I had never met you. You had reached out to me about the script,
Hmm.
and
That was
so-
such a weird thing too, how that happened.
yeah. Because I remember I was at Publix I was like vacuuming the break room, and then you text me, and I was like, well, no one else was in here. There's not supposed to be a camera in here. So I pulled out my phone, read the script, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is actually really good.
Well, what was weird about that process is I had seen you because I took classes at Hollywood Huntsville for a while, and I would stay. I rode with Christian Hetrick to them, so I would stay with him when he was in scene study, which was hours after my class.
Yeah.
So I'd be sitting in the room beside y'all, just chilling. And I'd seen y'all, but I never met y'all. I did meet him. I met Harrison.
Yeah, because I don't have a memory of meeting you.
Yeah, I was always
would you
there.
Be in like that second room?
Oh, wow.
Oh, okay.
And sometimes I'd be in the office just watching like Luke Cage or something. I was literally just chilling, babysitting Christian's kids sometimes when he was there.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
So I kind of was just chilling.
At one point, I thought you were his son. I think.
Hey man, I'll take it.
Because you left with him.
So I didn't.
I was like, cool.
I didn't really put myself out there when I was at Hollywood Huntsville much. I was there and then I would just leave. So when I would stay there and ride with him, I did the same kind of deal. I just kept to myself.
Yeah.
And when I came up with the idea for Mime, which was totally out of nowhere, it was weird. I didn't know you, but I saw you. And I was like,
in a dream.
I've never met this guy. I've never met this guy, but he just has the part. He has the part. And so
Little did you know, Sampley actually is a mime.
Yeah. So I texted you, and you texted me. That's when it got really weird. Because I thought about messaging you, but I thought it might be weird.
Oh, that's right. I remember.
So you messages me, and you're like, "Hey, man, I'm interested in your part." And I was like, "Dude, this is weird. We never met, but I thought you'd play the part anyways."
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And he was like, "Do you have a script?" And I was like, "Yeah," and I didn't. So I wrote it in about 5 minutes.
Wait,
a 2-page
are you for real?
script. Yeah,
you wrote
2-page
that in
script.
5 minutes?
I had everything laid out in my head, and I thought,
shoot.
well, I'm not going to write a script because it's going to be like a page and a half long. And you were like, well, can I see a script? And I was like, yeah. So I spent like 5 minutes, just typed up something.
That's
and
awesome.
sent it to him.
Man. You know, I remember that now because you posted on Facebook and I saw the description or whatever. Or I think someone tagged me or something maybe.
Maybe.
And then I was like, I've never, because it was funny, a week ago, I don't know if I told you this while we're working, I made like a list of like independent filmmakers in the Alabama area that would be worth it to work with. And you were on there, and then like Alex Gibson, who's really cool.
Yeah.
And
like
then
Alex.
like him and RJ, and then some other people.
Well, that's
that's
crazy.
fine.
I really appreciate that.
Yeah. Harrison was on there, and I had to take him out for someone else. Hey guys, Sampley Barinaga here, and I'm going to tell you why I use Anchor for my podcast, and it's simple, because it's free. There's creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer or tablet, whatever the heck you're using. Anchor will also distribute your podcast for you, so it can be heard on places like Spotify, Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, wherever you get your podcasts. And you can also make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. It's everything you need to make a podcast in one place. So download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. Do it, or else we're going to have a problem. And I don't want to have a problem with you.
And I had seen you in only one thing too.
What was
I had
that?
seen you do
Oh,
a couple
no.
scenes at Hollywood Huntsville, but it was the same scene with just different people.
Oh, Charlie Brown.
No. It was one you were doing in scene study, and it involved like sitting and eating something at a table.
Oh, sand pies and scissor legs.
Probably.
Yeah, the sandwich.
The sandwich
Right,
thing.
yeah.
Because I was sitting there and I watched you do it the first time. The second time I wasn't watching and I heard you say the same lines. I was like, what is he doing? And I was like, oh, he's doing the same scene with different people.
Oh,
Yeah.
Changed the game.
So I saw you in the first year I had something in the Rocket City Short Film Festival. I had a short
right.
called Void, and y'all had the tennis short.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
And that
Double
was one
fault.
of the things I liked most there.
Oh, thanks, man.
So I just, I really liked the high frame rate, actually.
Thanks, man.
I thought it was very chaotic, which worked.
Yeah.
And so, like I said, I hadn't seen you do anything. I had seen Harrison because I was a part of Transference that he was in. So I had met him once or twice, but we didn't really sit down and talk. I think the thing we talked about the most was the La La Land soundtrack.
We did because
That's
I had it in my
he
car.
had it in his car, and we were riding
like,
around to film. And I was like,
well,
"You got La La Land?"
Like,
He's like,
this is a good guy. This is a good guy here.
And so, and then I was actually in a scene in Transference, and we were both at the same location that day at the law offices.
Mm-hmm.
So I had never known you.
Uh-huh.
So it was just weird when you messaged me. I was like, okay.
Yeah.
And so it was, like I said, coming up with the idea was, sometimes I've had ideas for years.
Uh-huh.
Like there's this mini series I'm doing this fall that we're going to put on Amazon.
Oh, sweet.
That I've had since like 2015.
Uh-huh.
Some of these other shorts I've had for a while, but Mime came to me literally out of nowhere. And
That's awesome.
I was working a factory job at the time,
Uh-huh.
and I walked right across the whole factory to my buddy who worked with me, and I said, "Tell me if this sounds worth a crap."
That's awesome.
And he said, "Yeah, I like it." And I said, "All right." And then I turned around and I said, "I think it's going to be a silent film." And he said, "All right." And I said, "Cool." Because how I work is one of my flaws is sometimes I can't fully get across to others my vision because it's so in my head, because I edit everything and I write and direct most everything. So it's in my head. Mm-hmm. When I have someone else shoot it, or if I'm trying to describe it, sometimes I have a hard time doing that. Yeah. And that's something I'm trying to work on. Mm-hmm. But the thing I really wanted to do with Mime was make it accessible. And so when it came to doing it as a silent film, I love the silent film aesthetic. I feel like I really get it. And what's actually interesting is the first silent film I ever saw was a new one when The Artist came out.
Oh, really?
And it made me go back and watch everything else. And when you go back and you watch Chaplin and all these other old school silent films and you see what they did to make those happen with nothing, it's spectacular.
Speaking of Chaplin, whenever we got everything figured out and I knew I had the role, I was like, that's who I went to. I went and watched a bunch of clips on Buster Keaton, then I went and watched a lot of Chaplin. And I fell in love with Chaplin so much. I actually think I let Aaron borrow some of his movies because I'm like, you got to watch them. But I went out and bought like a whole bunch of Criterion.
Yeah, man. And it's amazing how they made those work with nothing, and how they fooled audiences with trickery of shots and sets. And I just, especially Field of Depth. Mm-hmm. And so when Mime came along, I was like, this is a perfect chance for me to do an old school silent film, because I had done some silent films before them, but one of them was more modern, some other ones were mixed with styles. I said, this can be my old school silent film, because one thing I'll say about Mime, it feels like an old school film.
I think so, yeah.
It looks like one, the acting feels like that, the music feels like it. It feels like it could have came out a long time ago.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And
that's what I like most about it. And I remember how I shot it too.
Yeah.
See, normally when I shoot things, and Harrison knows this, I do longer takes. Mm-hmm. And if I'm doing a scene, like, let's say I'm doing a 10-minute dialogue sequence, I'll film the whole scene with each angle. That's where my theater background comes in. Yeah. And if we mess up, we just reset, go a couple lines back, redo it, and I can figure it out in editing. With Mime, I didn't do that. I literally shot it in pieces. So I would say, okay, Sampley, on this scene, you're going to be doing this, and then I want you to freeze. And I would just change the camera angle, and we'd pick up from there. Yeah. And I remember when the film was finished, I had a couple people watch it, and they say, I'm going to be honest with you. When I was watching you film it, I didn't think it was going to work at all.
People have said that to you? Because, honestly, when I've been even on set for some features where somebody is, like, directing me and telling me to do something, or maybe they're saying it away because they have it in their head, but they're not really translating it well to me, so I kind of get stuck, and I'm like, wait, hold on, can we time out and talk about it? But I felt like when I was on set doing Mime, I was just, everything you said to me, I was just like, that makes sense, you know, I know what to do, because I feel like, I don't know, I feel like we were just communicating.
And you know, I'm one of these guys that there is a huge amount of detail in everything I do. Everything is thought out to the T, but I don't express it that way. Yeah. I think sometimes it can come across pretentious if you do that. Yeah. And to me, when people are acting for me or with me, I may be the director, producer, whatever, but I want them to look at me as Jesse. Yeah. And absolutely. I'm just a dude. I'm not above you. Yeah. I'm just a dude.
Are you listening, Harrison? Because the past couple things, Harrison is a diva. If he doesn't have his green M&Ms,
you don't have to tell me.
If there's a single red M&M in the bowl, he's flipping it over.
But you know what, guys? I'm just gonna leave right now.
You just stay on the floor over
He
there.
goes outside. Where's my honey wagon?
So, when I do things, I really try not to have one. I don't have many set rules, but one of them is like no ego. No one is above anybody here.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
And so, I can have a kid who's 10 and it's the first time they ever acted, and then they're acting alongside somebody who's been in 20 projects.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't make that person better than the kid.
No, not at all.
And so
Both of you are there for a reason.
that's how I look at it. And
That's such
so
a pet peeve of mine.
Right.
I just don't know why people.
we're in this business to have a good time and to meet people.
I just don't. One of the things that bothers me so much is like some of the best experiences I've had on working on projects are when you get to meet other actors and talk about things, talk about movies, talk about when they're cool, and talk about what they do and their work, and then there are maybe people that you're around where you would try and talk to them like a normal person, and they act like they're like, who are you? Get lost. And
we've had those experiences.
I think I've had a few.
Yeah.
I definitely have had.
I've had
I have
way
too.
less. All my experiences have been really cool. Like Martin Sheen and like Jason Segel and Luke Wilson. Like we were all even.
I'm very jealous of that.
Yeah.
Because I've had some bad
cool.
experiences.
Regina Hall was really cool too.
Yeah.
She was she would like be like, you think I'm doing that good? Do you want me to do it
That's so
different? I was
awesome.
like, dude, you're Regina Hall. I mean, you do
I think
your
that's
thing.
awesome.
I think that's really cool.
And I admire that. And I'm also an actor first. So I like to trust my actors. Because if I'm
Absolutely.
acting, I want the director to trust me.
Mhm.
So I like to have I'll beforehand, if I can, I'll call them and we'll talk, or the day of, we'll meet early and just sit and talk. We did that, Harrison and Kim, and Attack.
Yeah.
We met the night before filming started and just sat and talked.
Oh, that's awesome. That's really
And
cool.
I remember we took like an hour before you filmed.
Yeah, we met.
and we just chatted.
And then we just talked. And I was kind of nervous because I hadn't met you or any of your crew before. And that's just, I mean, I feel like anyone gets nervous before they meet someone new. But as soon as I got out of the car and I saw you had, I think it was a Pink Floyd hat on, I was like, yeah, Jesse's going to be all right.
And so, like how I always like do the first introductions, I don't go, well, hello, it is very nice to meet you. I go, I'll be like, Sampley, you like, yeah. I'm like, dude, what's going on, man?
Yeah.
That's just like, it's just how I flow.
I really enjoyed just working with you and the people that you had around you. It was just like, oh, we're just just a bunch of friends.
Chill
just hanging
guys
out.
making a movie.
And we just happened to be making a movie. It was a
And,
lot of fun.
we're lucky we did it in February,
Yeah.
which in Alabama can mean anything. And the weather was really good for that day.
Yeah.
And it felt like a longer day than it was.
Mm-hmm.
But it really wasn't, shooting-wise, that long of a time of filming.
No, yeah.
And for the most part, we shot it in order. We shot the ending first, and then we
That's
shot
right,
everything
yeah.
else in order.
Mm-hmm.
But there were multiple people that came up to me and said, how are you going to make this work? And it's just
Really?
like, I need you to trust me.
Yeah.
And that's another thing I try not to say that,
Mhm.
but I want people to trust me because it's like, if you just see what I see,
Yeah.
it's going to work.
Yeah.
It's going to work.
Wow.
And I don't mean that to come across in a way,
No,
but if it can happen how I see it, it's going to work. Trust me. And, with Mime, I think it's one of the best things that have come out.
Yeah.
It's the most family-friendly thing I have. I tend to do darker, more realistic material because sometimes I write about things that I hate.
Mm-hmm.
I've done an original play on slavery. I've done a film
wow.
about child abuse. I've
Mm-hmm.
done some about things I hate and I despise. But Mime was the first one where
You just hate mimes now.
mimes and children.
Yeah, mimes and children.
But it was one of those things where I was sitting here going like, this is the first true family film I can do.
Yeah.
It can reach a broader audience.
For sure.
And also, it has everything. When you think
Uh-huh.
about it, it has style. It has an original good score. It has good acting.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
And it has emotion.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I remember it took me like 15 times before I stopped crying watching it.
Really? Wow. Oh yeah, that's right. I remember you like FaceTimed me. And you were in
No,
tears,
that was
man.
funny. So so we finished filming at like 9 that night.
And honestly, I thought we were gonna go till midnight, but we wrapped up.
Yeah.
In my point of view, pretty fast.
We finished, and I got home, and I edited it together. And at 1 o'clock, I said, "Hey, man, you want to see the movie?" He's like, what?
Yeah, I had like
was
just
like, yeah,
gotten
man.
home.
I was like, yeah, man, you want to see the movie?
Wow.
He was like, really? And I was like, yeah. So I FaceTimed him and showed it to him.
Showed it. I was like, oh wow, that's like.
And so it, I remember when it was it premiered at Rocket City this past October.
Yeah.
And I was sitting on the front row and I was bawling.
Oh, I missed it. That's right. I was in Texas during that
Yeah,
time.
yeah.
It was, you're always missing.
I'm always somewhere else.
Hey, you're working. That's what matters.
Yeah.
Or am I?
But that movie really, and then when it showed in Florence at Lindsay Fest, it did really well too.
That's awesome.
It, I think what makes it work the most though are two things. One of them is you.
Oh, thanks, man.
Literally, you. And there was a time when we were filming. It was a bit after Paris had taken your money.
Oh, okay. That's a great part.
And you did the eyes thing, and you turned, and I stopped for a second, and you were like, what? And I said, you have no idea how perfect silent film you are right now.
Yeah. I watched a lot of Buster Keaton and Charlie Chaplin, so all the props goes to
perfect.
And so you did old school acting while still making it realistic.
Yeah.
And modern.
I had a blast. I love doing stuff like that.
And what I think the other thing that really makes it are the kids.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, yeah, they crushed it.
The kids don't realize how powerful they are.
Oh, yeah.
My sister, who was in it, has
Paris,
been
she was
in
awesome.
a few things of mine, and she doesn't realize how powerful she really is.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, without a doubt.
And
yeah, no, like kids.
she really got to me in that one.
Yeah, for sure. Like,
and we're sitting there, and I remember I'm sitting there. We made this makeshift little tent out of sheets, and I'm sitting there telling her what to do, getting onto her actually.
yeah, I remember that.
And
yeah, that's right, yeah.
her and her little friend Rylan, and they just don't get it.
Yeah.
And that's okay.
It's kind of magical.
Yeah, it's
in a way.
magical because you just have to, like, I've been on a set before and someone said, you need to control the kids. And I said, they need to be kids.
Yeah, for sure.
You have to let kids be kids. That's when you get the magic.
We talked about Tree of Life recently or earlier, and like that's kind of like what Terrence Malick would do. He would just like, if they were playing, they'd just be like, let's watch them, just let them play and just be kids. And then Jessica Chastain, you get in there and just start playing with them.
Because done the wrong way, Mime can come across as creepy.
Yeah,
because you start following her.
Yeah.
And at one point, I think I said something like, someone could take this the wrong way.
Oh, I didn't even think about that. Usually I'm pretty aware of that stuff.
Yeah, and
But no.
but once you show the true situation as to what's going on, I think it really, any thought of that, if there even is one, dissipates like smoke. It's nothing.
Yeah, for sure.
Because it's even as a kid, Paris and Rylan are best friends.
That's awesome, yeah.
Their relationship is so genuine and so whole that if I could have, nowadays when you get older you lose relationships.
Yeah, for sure. And sometimes you just have to be okay with that and
people hurt each other so much when you get older. As kids, it's so simple.
Yeah.
And you don't realize it when you're a kid. I look back and I go, man, that we had some good times and we didn't think of anything.
Exactly.
And so Paris and them, they played most of that day.
Yeah, they did.
And then when we filmed that scene, they don't know the importance of what that scene is doing.
Yeah.
But that's what makes it special.
Without
because we do. And even when I filmed it, I didn't fully realize it.
Yeah.
And then when you put it together and you just go, wow, just the look in their eyes is so powerful. When the part that really used to get me were two parts. This is going to sound weird to the people who haven't seen it. Both involve bread.
The money? No, actual bread.
Yeah. It was her handing Rylan one.
Yes.
Who was sick. Rylan was sick. And the other one was her handing you one as kind of this olive branch.
Yeah.
Because she had stolen your money that day, but she stole it because she
needed food.
She needed food.
and then I
Yeah.
sequence-
and then we all look at each other and laugh.
When I watched the sequence, like it's in your demo reel because that we watched. We
Yeah.
were looking through like looking through the footage, and I was like, man, the sequence when I watched it really got me was when you're like kind of dejected, and then all of a sudden you turn. Like it's like a great filmmaking. It's like everything kind of hits perfectly.
Yeah, the part is
when you
moment
first meet her.
where she
Yeah.
comes up and I'm doing that, and then I turn around and she's gone. That's a great shot, by the way. To where
The
I'm
far-
doing my
the
thing,
wide
and then
shot.
it cuts to the wide, and she's gone, and then there's just that boy walking. I'm just
Pierce,
like,
throwing him
That's
out
right,
there,
yeah.
throwing him
Yeah,
out there.
yeah,
Pierce,
shout out to
Shout out
Pierce.
to Piers
Pierce.
Dalton,
Pierce.
the MVP
Pierce.
of both of these shorts.
First time I ever met that kid was that day.
Oh
No,
yeah,
but that sequence was kind
Yeah.
of like it's like filmmaking is like perfect, you know. And again, it's there's no dialogue. It's just this combination of acting and music and cinematography and directing, and it's just like that moment is like, oh, that's like it's a
And
great
there's
moment.
I remember when we filmed that scene, I had to wrangle Paris in to do it.
yeah.
And she had been shy that day. I remember
Mhm.
when we shot the ending, she was kind of like, I was like, you got to smile. She's like, I am smiling. She was like, she was having a hard time.
Yeah.
But when I pulled her in to do that scene, I told her, okay, here's what I need you to do.
Mhm.
Expecting kind of have to stop her. And she nailed it, telling you to do the miming. And then when we finished and she was doing the laughing stuff,
Uh-huh.
I just looked at Josh that was standing there and I looked at you and I went, oh. And I was like, you're good,
Awesome.
Paris. You can go back.
That's awesome.
But what's weird is my favorite thing to write is dialogue.
Mhm.
That's where I take from Tarantino.
Yeah.
I
Oh,
like writing dialogue.
He's so good.
And a lot of it is just like regular conversational dialogue.
Mhm.
That's what I like. And that's what's crazy. Like the two films we're talking about today, Attack was all dialogue.
Yeah.
For the
that's
most
right, yeah.
a big
It was all, yeah,
portion of it was dialogue. Mine was none.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
And I think you have to know when to differentiate the two, when to not talk, when
Mhm.
to just show.
Yeah.
Because film is
absolutely.
a visual medium.
Oh yeah, with that. Yeah. Absolutely.
And I think with Mime, I really just wanted to get across something that is so simple,
Mhm.
but it's really not.
Yeah.
And there are some people who just watch it and they go, oh, that was a fun little... That's fine.
Yeah.
It is so layered beyond belief.
Mhm.
And that is really because of you and the two little girls.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Because
Yeah.
you three come across as so simplistic,
Yeah, they were awesome.
but it is not simple.
Yeah. I just had a blast working with them and just like making them laugh, doing like all the mime stuff, and just
Mhm.
like I just had so much fun.
And I was actually worried because when I work with people who have done a good bit,
Mhm.
I bring a totally different style when I do things.
Okay.
I have a very laid back approach.
Mm-hmm.
I have a very chill approach, and it's very much a less is more approach.
Mm-hmm.
I don't do a lot of takes.
Yeah.
I'm very simple.
Mm-hmm.
And so when I was with both of you, I was like, I don't know if they're going to like my approach.
Of less or of just kind of leaning back.
Yeah, and I tried to take off as much pressure as possible.
If
And even with that, I think I don't say action or cut.
uh-huh.
I think those words incite stress.
Yeah, for sure.
And to me, what I'll do is I'll sit there and I'll be filming. I'll be like, you good? You'll be like, yeah. And I'll go, all right, go ahead. And then when you're done, I'll be like, all right, that's good. Because if you say, all right, we're getting ready to go, ready to roll, action, action, and then I go, all right, and action.
Mm-hmm.
You're sitting there waiting for me to say action.
Yeah,
I feel like,
But if I say,
yeah,
hey, just go ahead.
mm-hmm.
I feel like
your
there's a lot of directors like the ego side of the
Right.
action.
There was a
He's-
documentary
yeah.
on Phantom Menace that was better than the actual movie of how they made it. And the first AD was talking with George, and he said, "So are you going to be the one to say action or cut, or do I?" And I'm like, "There's a process for who's going to say action and cut in some of these things.
Uh-huh.
No, just go."
Yeah.
Clint Eastwood is
Yeah, I
the
was about to
man.
say Eastwood
Yeah.
does that. He's all right.
Yeah, just
But see,
whenever
even
you're
with
ready.
him, he'll look at other people and let them know we're about to roll. He'll do
Mhm.
the finger wagging
Yeah.
thing, and then he'll come back and say, "All right, go ahead."
Mhm.
To me, I don't even do that. It's just going to be like, "We good? Okay. Whenever you're ready, all right, go ahead."
Yeah. I really like that.
It sets them at ease, and if actors
Mhm.
are at ease, they can relax more. They can be the character more.
Absolutely. Because if you say cut, I mean, you never know. They might have done something. If you hadn't have said that, that would have just made something in that
Right.
moment. I mean, you see that in films all the time. where they improvise something or they just keep going. But
and that was the big difference between the two that you were in. So yours normally, if I do longer takes, they're for a purpose. Sometimes people say I hold on takes too long, but that's just I like it because the longer you hold on a take, the more real that situation becomes, and the more the actor has to stay the character.
Mm-hmm.
And with Mime, you didn't get that opportunity.
Yeah.
But that style of film didn't need that.
Yeah,
it
for
needed
sure.
the short
Bam,
burst
bam,
of
bam, yeah.
little silent film energy.
Mm-hmm.
Each scene has some kind of energy that has a silent film feel to it in each shot. And so that's why I was going for with that, shooting it in pieces like that. And you have to have the right people when you do something like that. And also, I shoot most everything myself.
Yeah.
So, I can see if someone works with me and they're worried because I've got so many irons in the fire.
Yeah.
But it's just like I try to make them feel at ease, like I've said, so they trust it and they just do their part.
Yeah.
And I can trust them to do their part.
Mm-hmm. I really like directors like that just want me to show up. They do their thing, and I do my thing because they hired me because they know I'm going to show up and just do my job.
Really,
and
by
they
the
don't need to hold
time,
my hand,
in my opinion, by the time you get to set, you should know what you're doing.
Yeah, absolutely, without a doubt.
Oh,
the
my
only
gosh.
thing that they only really need to do is tell you blocking stuff. and that's
Yeah,
pretty
or
much
if you
it.
need to change something, try it like this. But most of the time, I don't have to do that. So, like with Harrison and them, we actually got to talk a couple times beforehand, and we got to work on some stuff the night before filming. By the time they got to set, they knew exactly what they were doing.
Yeah.
I gave them some notes when we were rehearsing. That was about it.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
They knew how to portray those people.
Yeah.
The only thing I had to really give reference to him on was about having attacks because he had never had
Oh,
one.
yeah. No, that was...
So,
Anxiety attacks?
yeah,
Yeah.
because I had, but he had never had one.
Oh, wow.
So I told him, well, we're
They're
going to
awesome.
have, there's different kinds of attacks. We're going to have one
Yeah.
like I have.
Mm-hmm.
So I told him how it worked, and he took that.
You can't really
So-
YouTube that.
Right.
No.
So besides
Ugh.
that,
That'd be weird.
Yeah.
I've seen people come up and they're like, "I need you to direct me," and it's like you need with me. We're gonna figure it out before we get to set, so you know what you need to do. And if I need to do anything, then okay, but you're gonna know what to do.
Yeah.
And if we have to adapt, we have to adapt.
Mm-hmm. When does Attack come out? Like officially? Like when you?
It depends on
post and stuff?
festivals.
Yeah,
So,
because
I don't want to just put it online first.
Yeah.
So, let's say festivals don't really work the rest of the year. I'll probably submit it to Lindsay Fest, which happens in the spring.
Couldn't they? I mean, I know half the fun is, or most of the fun is watching it in person on the screen, but I guess they really couldn't. You couldn't just send them in.
I used to have
Yeah.
premieres,
Oh,
or
really?
the public premieres that were free to people,
Oh,
but
that's
I
awesome.
decided to stop with those,
Yeah.
just for personal reasons.
Harrison showing up to all of them. You're just like, oh my
God,
gosh.
I get enough of
Can't
it.
get away.
But it was so yeah. It depends on festivals because here's another problem with festivals. They say okay, short films.
Mm-hmm.
Some festivals say okay, 45 minutes or less.
Mm-hmm.
Or Attack is 44 minutes 51 seconds.
Oh, wow.
So it's still a short film, but it will get denied to most of the festivals it's sent to because it's 44 minutes.
That's nuts.
Yeah.
I guess they probably get so many
Mhm.
submissions that maybe they just use that as like, we just need to get rid of all this stuff so we can like get rid of the clutter, even though they're
Right.
probably missing out on some really
And
great
it's
stuff.
true. A lot of festivals want 15 to 20 minutes.
Yeah.
But if to me, and this is something I discussed with them, if you don't need to rush it. That's my problem with so many short films.
Yeah.
I feel like they're rushed just to fit a short time limit.
Yeah.
Make your film.
Mm-hmm.
And if you need to make it longer, there's been some times where I was making a short and it turned into a feature.
Oh, wow.
Or a short feature because it needed to be more.
Yeah. What like because I've never really dabbled in like the Oscar ones that win. Like, how long are those?
I don't know. I think they vary.
Yeah, because I know there's an animated.
A lot
short,
of times they're shorter.
There's documentary short, and then there's just I guess just regular short.
You know,
film.
and that's just a personal decision to me. It's like you've got to let films breathe.
Yeah, for sure.
If you cut too much, you're not letting the film be what it needs to be.
Mm-hmm.
And when we did Attack, that was a big thing. That was my biggest note to them was take your time.
Yeah.
You think you're not taking enough time? Take more.
I feel like that's like a big studio thing to where they're like, all right, we love it, but it's 3 hours. You need to cut.
Well, that's the reason I love The Irishman so much. They let it be what it needed to be.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, because, I mean, Martin, how could you look at Martin Scorsese and be like, this isn't needed? No, he filmed it for a reason.
Exactly.
But I watched The Town recently, which is
Right.
Ben Affleck.
It's a great one.
His second. Yeah, his second.
Because he did Argo right after that.
And then before he did Gone Baby Gone with his brother Casey, which I really like that film. But after we finished The Town, which is a really good movie, but I was like, man, there's like it feels like some scenes were left out. And then I went and read it, and apparently, I got to check out that. It's like 2 hours, way longer. Than
Same thing with Batman vs Superman. There was a director's cut that a lot of people liked a lot more.
Yeah, and
it's just like, to me, I try to never cut anything if possible.
Yeah.
If I need to, so be it. But yeah, when it comes to these shorts, people ask me, how long is it going to be? It's going to be however long it's going to be.
That's awesome.
Because that's how long it needs to be.
Yeah.
You let the story take you where you need to go.
Yeah, absolutely. I totally agree.
And that's kind of what happened with Attack. It was like, this is based on conversation. Mm-hmm. This is based on dialogue between people who have a hard time communicating with other people. Yeah. Because the film is ultimately about how people that are younger people deal with depression in different ways. Mm-hmm. So the film was, I've had some hard times the past few years, and the film was almost a first-hand account of some things. And Harrison was basically portraying me to a point. Yeah. And parts of Kim were me too. Mm-hmm. And I wanted to have people, without being frontward and thrown at people's face, people to watch that and say, I feel that. Yeah. Or they may get emotional and not realize they are, because it just resonates without being in your face. Yeah. Like, this is how you feel. No, it's just like, you let these characters interact, and if it resonates with you, you'll feel it. Yeah, absolutely. And so with them, it was like, okay, a couple of scenes I was like, we're going to do multiple angles here. Like, there's a big scene that ended up being like almost 14 minutes long. Yeah. Oh, wow. We did one take. The film was shot in 4:3 aspect ratio. Mm-hmm. The reason was because, to me, when you're in depression or you're having an attack, you feel like you're boxed in. Yeah. So we shot it in the square. That's awesome. So literally the film, how it looks, is a metaphor in itself. Yeah. And so you have them sitting there in black and white, boxed in together. It's not a close-up shot. It's a medium pretty much, and they're sitting at the bottom of the frame, just sitting there by this creek. And they have just met each other earlier that day, and they're just talking. That's all they do, is they talk. Yeah. And some people, if you say that, they'll be like, for 15 minutes, it's like, yeah. In one take, yeah, that's boring.
People that say that need to go watch the Before trilogy. I don't know if you have.
Yes,
oh
we
my
talked
God.
about that.
All they do is just talk.
That scene, that scene in Hunger, that's 15 minutes long, of them just sitting there.
I haven't seen is
Steve McQueen
Steve
movie
McQueen?
that with Michael Fassbender.
I haven't seen that. That's on my list.
He's sitting there talking to a priest for like 15 minutes.
That's
one
awesome.
One side angle.
I don't know if you saw this today, but Criterion is half off till August 2nd. So I'm probably.
I need to look into that.
That's been on my list. Hunger, and then what's that other one? Fassbender did with him?
Shame.
Yeah,
I love Shame.
Probably pick up those and some more Chaplin stuff. I'm like addicted.
Yeah. I mean, I bought Blue is the Warmest Color from Criterion.
Oh, I haven't seen that one. Yeah. Didn't you buy or rebuy Blue Velvet?
Oh man. David Lynch.
I close my.
So what happened with that, real quick? I'll say this real fast. Harrison said, "Never watch it. It's terrible." When he told me that, I was like, "I'm gonna buy it on Criterion." So I went and buy it, watch it, and I was like, "Dude, you have to go rewatch this because
I almost threw it away.
Something happened where." It's a masterpiece. You need to go watch it. And then he came back. He was like, "Yeah, you were right."
That's how David Lynch works.
I don't know if I said you were right, but
well, I was, but okay. And you're gonna say the same thing about The Wrestler.
It's I'll even say I like Mulholland Drive is my favorite Lynch film.
Oh, me too.
And then I hated Blue Velvet, and then I recently rewatched it, and I was like, Blue Velvet is like it's my favorite. It's amazing.
Oh, you like it more than Mulholland Drive?
I do.
I still think the best thing he did was the last season of Twin Peaks they did a couple years ago.
Haven't seen that.
I watched the first season of Twin Peaks because when I was on set with Jason Segel, he mentioned he was working on this TV show that's out and it's really good.
Mm-hmm.
He was talking about how David Lynch and Charlie Kaufman were like his big things. I was like, David Lynch, I've only ever seen Mulholland Drive, and he was like, dude, you have to go watch Twin Peaks. And
especially
I watched
the first season.
And it's amazing. I don't know why I didn't watch the rest. I think that's when me and Aaron started watching Breaking Bad.
Yeah, the
So I need
third
to go
season
back.
was like 20 years later, and it
Yeah.
was on Showtime, so it was a much different kind of deal.
Yeah.
Because the first two seasons were done in the early 90s, late 80s, something like that, on ABC.
Oh.
So when he did it on Showtime, he did 18 episodes, and he got to be full on David Lynch.
Was that like a year ago or 2 years ago?
a couple years ago? It was
Yeah.
one of the most amazing things I've ever watched in my life.
I need to.
There's one episode in particular where he was full art house David Lynch. And you sit there and watch it and you go, I don't know what's going on, but it's one of the most amazing things I've ever seen.
Did
in my
you
life.
see his short film on Netflix, The Monkey?
I
What
heard
Did
about
Jack
it.
Do?
I heard about it.
It is bananas. 'Cause
See,
it's a monkey.
whether you like him or not, you have to give him his due. Of
yeah,
he is
he's a force.
yes, and I love how he is as a person when it comes to how he does things.
His hair is awesome.
Yeah, he's a guy
His
that just wants to
white,
get his
just-
stuff done.
High hair is awesome.
Yeah.
Do you remember when they were doing the ice bucket challenge?
Oh yeah.
Have you seen that video of him doing it?
Mm-hmm.
And he goes, I challenge Vladimir Putin. Just like
Such
that's
a crazy
he's just
man.
so funny.
Yeah.
All right, so back to Attack.
Okay.
So you guys shot that recently this year,
Mm-hmm.
which that seems like a decade ago.
It does.
Honestly, with all this stuff.
I
going
can't
on.
believe that was this year.
Yeah, we started in January, and then we had to do some reshoots, which were totally on me.
Yeah.
And I'm glad
Come
we
on,
did.
They're on Harrison. Come on, we can. He needs to know.
I'll blame him on Pierce.
There you go.
And then we did them again, and so much better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We
I'm
got to
excited
think
for
about 'em
people to
more.
see it. I guess, man, they won't do the Rocket City Film Festival this year, most likely. So
If they
were
do it,
you
maybe
thinking about
online.
putting it there. Was that one of the
It's
places?
too long.
Really?
It's 44 plus minutes.
But they had like a
Rocket
Like a
City Short
45?
Film Festival has a 15-minute time limit.
Huh. Let's
What?
make it up
No,
into
like,
two parts.
Whenever we did Double Fault, I swear there was one that was like 30, 40 minutes.
No, there was a couple that were 16 with titles.
What?
Mine was 16 with
Well,
titles. He let me
those
know.
that we watched, they felt really long. No
Yeah.
offense. I'm not
Yeah,
saying
dude.
anyone's.
Dude, mine wasn't till like 3 from the end that night.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, they were good, all of them, but
Yeah.
after a while, it's like,
Yeah.
man,
It's tough.
yeah. And I was tired that night.
So, this is something I thought this would be fun to close out on. Wait, what is Harrison doing?
What do you got?
He gave me a finger.
He's being
Do
sneaky.
you know? Are you pulling it up?
I did. Yeah. Were you thinking the same thing?
Oh yeah, dude. Oh,
There you
look
go.
at
We
that.
talked
Harrison
about
and I
this.
agree on something.
So
All
I
right.
have the sequence here.
So what's the sequence?
Okay, so it's film, song, line, ending, scene.
Yeah. So we go around and name
Okay.
and just off the top of the head.
We can go one by one here.
Favorites?
You got to pick.
Yeah.
Just pick
Just
one.
as of today. This
Yeah,
doesn't have to be set in
changes.
concrete. Just as of today. An interviewer did this with Damien Chazelle.
Yes.
And he essentially said they could be different every day. You know,
Okay.
it could be different tomorrow. So what's the first one?
Film.
Film. So
Which
favorite
is probably
film right
the
now.
maybe hardest.
Yeah, I'll go first. Or do y'all?
Sampley.
I'll go first.
You go first.
One that's I kind of have 3 that I always go back to, but I think the one that made me want to be a filmmaker and be in this industry, like for sure, was The Dark Knight. So I'd have to go The Dark Knight.
Wow.
That's mine. What about yours, Harrison?
I could be all like snobby about this,
Mm-hmm.
but I think I'm gonna go with the movie trilogy that always has inspired me the most, which is just the original Star Wars movies.
That's awesome.
In fact, even the prequels, Star Wars in general.
That's awesome.
Well, we grew up with those.
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about you, Jesse?
That's a tough one.
Yeah, for sure.
My top 3 are really tough because I have Inception as number 1, which surprises
Wow.
people. Yeah.
Wow.
I totally get that.
I watch that a few times a year, and I get something new every time. And I am actually emotionally connected in that movie as well.
Yes.
That's why Leo took the role, because he wanted something that was emotional. And I think it is emotional.
Absolutely agree, because sometimes people say that Nolan, he's not very good at
Watch
getting
Interstellar.
I know.
Oh my Lord.
I don't get that. Or The Dark Knight. Like, I really felt for like Harvey Dent when he's like screaming on the floor with gasoline on his face because his future wife just died.
Mm-hmm.
I don't get why people say, oh, he's too technical. He doesn't really let his characters, shine.
Interstellar tore me up.
Oh man, that last line with him and Murph, where he was like, "How'd you know I'd come back?" And she's like, "Because my dad told me." I'm just like, ugh.
And the bit when they've been on the water planet where every hour there's 7 years on Earth,
it's
and
terrible.
he comes back and his kids are grown up and he has to watch the videos.
There were all
my
those
gosh.
great like cuts between McConaughey watching it and the new
Star
Star Wars
Wars.
trailer.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
And he's
Force
like-
Awakens.
Yeah, all right.
Have you seen that video of where the guy's putting the USB in the computer and it's like the Interstellar score behind it? It's like really intense, and he's like, "Come on,
Nice.
Tars!
Come on,
Nice.
And
Tars!
then, like, it goes in wrong, and then he flips it around, and then it
Hey.
goes in.
That was one of the coolest movie robots.
Oh, without a
Yeah.
doubt, yeah.
But people are surprised when I say Inception. I don't really know why.
That surprises me that people are surprised.
But Inception is number
Not that-
one, and then
yeah.
right there, Lord of the Rings trilogy. Because
Me too.
I'm a huge Lord of the Rings geek. I grew up, instead of bedtime stories, my dad read me Lord of the Rings.
Yes.
So in 2001, when I'm in first or second grade and Fellowship comes out, I'm knowing exactly everything that they're leaving out of that movie.
Yeah.
I know the stuff in the appendices.
Yeah.
I know everything. And I'm a total geek for Lord of the
Yeah.
Rings.
I was talking to Harrison. We're gonna have to do an episode on that, and that one could be maybe. We might have to split that up into parts.
You might have to do a two-parter on that. Or do a movie
because I count the whole trilogy as one movie.
like what New Line said to Peter Jackson, because some people were trying to get him to do it in one movie or two.
Oh,
And New Line said, well, there's 3 books.
You should
shouldn't
do
there
3
be
movies,
Yeah. What?
It's like, yeah.
Absolutely.
And then 3 is There Will Be Blood.
Dude,
Wow.
that's an amazing film.
Masterclass in acting.
Absolutely, yeah,
And in everything. But
Paul Thomas Anderson, he's slowly becoming one of my favorites.
Drainage.
man, that's
your milkshake.
that's so amazing.
Eli.
That's so amazing. And see, he's right there behind Mickey Rourke for me as the best
Oh,
performance I've ever seen, because
yeah.
I still give Mickey Rourke in The Wrestler. That movie haunts me.
Have you seen Magnolia? If
Parts.
not, you should watch the
Parts.
whole thing. I think I've only seen that once, and I've seen There Will Be Blood twice. But like for Paul Thomas Anderson films,
Yeah.
like they're both like interchangeable.
See,
right
I've
now
got
for
There Will
me.
Be Blood and then The Master.
Yeah.
I love The Master
Master's so great
because,
too.
Joaquin is one of my favorites, and Philip Seymour Hoffman was too.
Inherent Vice is really good too.
And then Phantom Thread is great too.
Oh, yeah.
Punch Drunk Love.
We went and saw that together in theaters, which was a weird film to see with another guy.
Hey man,
It was.
You gotta do what
There
you
were
gotta
some.
do.
I probably have to rewatch that. There was a lot to digest in that movie.
Oh, yeah.
There were some
Yes.
amazing sequences.
Paul Thomas
that I still
Anderson is
remember.
full of detailed sequences where you have to watch them multiple times.
Absolutely.
Um,
But
But really,
what's the next
Inception is that one.
that
for
should have
me.
won Best Picture that year, I would say.
It should have been up there. It won some like visuals and sound and stuff,
Yeah.
but I think,
It won cinematography for Wally Pfister, which was
yeah,
cool.
I think Nolan gets the short end of the stick a lot.
Was he wasn't even nominated for director, was he?
He has never been nominated.
He was nominated for Dunkirk, but
Was
he
he?
lost to Guillermo del
Okay.
Toro, which I really thought no one was going to win.
I
for
didn't think
Dunkirk.
Shape of Water should have won that year. I thought Dunkirk.
I thought Dunkirk or even Get Out or Lady Bird. I enjoyed it a lot more than Shape of Water,
Yeah.
but maybe I need to see it again. What was the other one after film?
This is gonna be tough. The next several are gonna be tough. Song. Favorite song from a movie.
From a movie,
Yes.
not just in general
No, no,
song,
no.
from a movie.
Yeah.
For me,
Because I was about to whip out some Hallelujah or Fix You.
Oh, okay. That's a tough
just
one.
off the top of my head, that first thing that comes to mind is probably that Tarzan is like one of my favorite films.
Oh,
of
which
all time.
one? Which song?
The Son of Man would
Okay.
probably be my
Yeah,
number
that's my
one,
favorite
just
one from
because
Tarzan.
it's like one of my favorite lines from that song is "In learning you will teach, and in teaching you will learn," and it's just like
People
there's
hate,
a lot of weight in that.
Dude, people hate on the songs in that movie because the characters aren't actually singing them.
Dude, I
I'm
don't
like,
care.
you got Phil Collins in there.
Phil Collins
Yeah.
crushes it. That's that's my favorite animated film. That's why I get. that
Oh,
huge
that's
poster up there.
interesting. You don't ever hear anyone say that. That's cool.
It's yeah.
I dig Tarzan.
I was running around as a kid with the little
Yeah.
I made my dad fashion me a, what are those things?
Loincloth?
Thank you.
Oh no!
And I was just
Oh
being
man.
Tarzan.
Young Sampley in a loin
This
cloth.
podcast is taking a turn.
I can go get it out, guys. If you want.
Please don't.
Hey, that cheetah scene is awesome.
Oh yeah, for sure. Oh, when he rises up and you think,
Yeah.
he what's her name? Sabor killed him for a second, and then he
Yeah.
just like tosses her off. He's got the scratch on his arm. He's like, oh.
He's awesome.
So what's your song?
So, song from a movie.
It has to be strictly a movie, not adapted from like
a
show or
You can do
something.
whatever you want.
How detailed are we
Because I'm
going
about
here?
to go with
I
like
feel
a
like original
piece.
song from the film.
Original
I'm about
song,
to go
okay.
with a piece of like score
That's fine.
Okay.
You can go with
because
that. Sure.
the
You can
two that
cheat.
always get me, for some reason, Taxi Driver, Chinatown scores.
Oh yeah.
That's interesting.
Bernard
Herman
right?
and then Jerry Goldsmith for Chinatown.
Yeah.
In fact, Chinatown may be a little bit above that. For some reason, those two are just like inseparable from the movies. For me.
I absolutely agree with you on that.
But I know that's cheating. So.
Nah, that's not cheating. I will count it.
Well, if you had to pick a song,
Yeah.
what would yours
yeah,
be?
what would
Oh gosh. I mean, Chazelle goes with play it as time goes by. I'll throw it that. Sure.
Alright.
That's a great. I just watched that recently.
All right.
Yeah. So this is probably the hardest one in my opinion. What do you got, Jesse, for a song?
Ooh, man, there's always some childhood ones that stick out. So
Yeah.
like, You Got a Friend in Me.
Oh, that's
That's a
great
powerful
one.
song.
That's great.
When you really
great
think
one.
about it. I really love Can You Feel the Love Tonight?
That's a great song too.
I love Lose Yourself by Eminem.
Oh yeah, 8 Mile. Yeah.
Yeah.
He won
8
the
Mile's a
Oscar.
great movie. And he finally performed this past year at the Oscars.
Yeah, that was
That's
like,
right.
That was odd,
That was
but
so
it was
random,
yeah.
but kind of cool.
I don't know. I really love Someone in the Crowd
That's
Fantastic.
from La La Land.
Yeah.
Um, my favorite musical is Sweeney Todd, so like
Oh, I recently watched.
it's
that.
actually my favorite Johnny Depp performance.
Really.
So
Wow.
some of the songs in Sweeney Todd I like, but I don't consider that because it's from the play,
Yeah.
or the musical rather. But that's that man.
It's hard, isn't it?
Yeah.
Stressful too.
Yeah, I said mine just pretty quick.
I'd probably
You guys
have
are
to-
like sweating blood over here.
I'd probably have to go with a Disney song.
Yeah, for sure.
So I'd have to probably go with
Let it go. Let it go. Frozen.
hey, that's a banger.
Wait,
okay.
what about any music from Cats, Jesse?
Oh yeah.
Do you
Okay,
really
so
want
this
me
was
to
the-
go this
was
way?
the running gag when we filmed Attack. Is I just remember eating these wings that were super hot that I didn't order that the restaurant messed up, and Jesse telling me about how much he hated cats.
I thought that should have won Best Picture. Said no one ever.
Dude, man, oh
Loved
my
it.
god, that was so. And I actually liked the show before the
I've
movie.
never seen the actual show.
The show is insane, but I actually kind of liked it. But then when I saw the movie, it made me dislike the show.
I remember seeing the trailer and I thought like something was wrong with my brain. I thought I was like in a like
Yeah, it's creepy.
this can't be real when I watched the trailer.
I actually took up for that movie
Did you really?
for a while. I was like, you've got to give it a chance to come out.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
And then when I saw it, I was like, don't go see it.
Yeah.
It's
Save some money.
Yeah. So, song from a movie.
Yeah, that's tough.
Oh,
You said a Disney one. Which one?
if I'd probably have to go Disney because that's the
Yeah.
childhood.
I feel like.
But there's so many. Lion King has so many. Beauty and the Beast has so many.
Oh yeah.
Oh, okay. If we're just gonna say, Why Should I Worry from Oliver and Company,
Oh yeah.
which
yeah,
I think
haven't
is
seen
one
that
of the
movie
most
in-
underrated Disney
I have
movies.
not seen that movie in a long
There's
time.
three. That one underrated. The Rescuers Down Under, some of the best animation you ever see.
Yeah.
And The Great Mouse Detective.
I knew you were about to say the Great
That
Mouse
one just always
Detective.
scared me.
It's
I got
terrifying.
scared of that one.
Yeah.
One of the best villains.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, the big
Um,
rat.
And Radigan's song is cool in that too. Vincent
Yeah.
Price.
I'm not big on rats.
That's
and
where it
mice.
all started, isn't it, Sampley?
Probably did honestly.
You were afraid of rats ever
What's-
since.
What's the next?
What's the
one?
next one?
Line.
Line
Favorite
from
line.
a movie. Sampley, you start because you're the one that can do this quickest.
Okay, so the first ones that come to mind is when the Joker says, "Never do anything you're good at for free," or and then also
Why So Serious isn't one of yours?
no, I even like what's that one he says at the beginning? If
what
doesn't kill you makes you
stranger.
stranger. I like that one.
And I like his line to Rachel. Little fight in you. I like that.
Yes. But if I was gonna go away from the Dark Knight, I'd probably go to Samwise Gamgee in Return of the King. I can't carry it for you, but I can carry you.
That's so good.
Yeah.
Sam is the best character, hands down.
Oh, easily, yeah. I don't know why you could think anything.
And I hate
that.
it. Actually, I don't get mad about it a lot, but when people make fun of Sam and Frodo's relationship, that gets under my skin.
Really? Who makes fun of it?
Whether they call it whatever or they make fun of it in general, I'm like, he cares about his. That's true friendship.
That's true friendship. Yeah.
Sam is the MVP. Of Lord of the Rings.
Every time I watch it, if you pull it up right now, I would just start bawling.
Yeah, Sam is.
That line and the way Sean asked, what you go back and you think, how was he not nominated for any of those films? Because he is a
Lord of the Rings,
huge
Return of the
standout.
King, especially.
Yeah,
the only acting nomination they ever got was Fellowship. Ian McKellen.
Yeah, Ian McKellen. Yeah, but sorry, Harrison, what's your line? You've had time to think.
I've been sitting here thinking. This is very hard.
First one that comes to mind, just share it.
I was either thinking just Stallone screaming, Adrian! or welcome to Seb's.
That's great.
Okay, that's a good one. Yeah,
great.
Especially in context.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. What about you, Jesse?
It's a Samwise Gamgee line.
Oh, really?
There
Which
we
one?
go.
From Two Towers
his speech.
There's still a lot of good in this world, Mr. Frodo, and it's worth fighting for.
Yeah.
Mm.
I just got goosebumps.
And that was made up because in the Two Towers, they continued on. They left Faramir's and they went to Cirith Ungol, and it ended with him going into the tower. That was where Two Towers, the book, ended.
Yeah.
The first, or actually after Sheila paralyzed Frodo, that's where the Two Towers book ended, and it picked up with the choices of Master Samwise going into and finding Cirith Ungol and getting in. And actually, there's an old Rankin Bass animated Return of the King from the 70s. They did The Hobbit, too. And the first half of the film is Samwise trying to get in the tower.
That's awesome.
And so what they did because they were wanting to match timelines, because when they were climbing Cirith Ungol, Minas Tirith was happening. So they wanted to match that in Return of the King. So what they did is they extended the Faramir stuff in Two Towers, and they had them go to Osgiliath, which wasn't in the book. But to me, without that Osgiliath thing, Osgiliath didn't mean as much in Return of the King. And we wouldn't have got that monologue from Sam.
Oh. And even in that moment, it cuts over to Gollum, and he's even like, "Oh man, like Sam's right."
And I think there are some other ones that are very powerful.
Oh yeah,
I think
for sure.
Some Solomon Northup lines in 12 Years a Slave are extremely powerful.
Man, that's a tough one to watch, but definitely necessary.
There's only like 2 villains in movies that I actually despise when I watch them. One of them is Michael Fassbender in that movie, and another one is Dwight Yoakam as Doyle in Sling Blade.
Oh,
I hate him.
The stepdad.
I despise him.
Oh, yeah. Oh, what are you doing? I reckon I'll put this long blade in your head. Okay.
Okay, I gotta go back to the song. I remember I thought about this last week. Okay, song from a movie. It was in the movie, but this Mud, the Help Me Rhonda.
Oh yeah,
Mud's a great movie.
Yeah,
I had to go back to that. I thought
and in
about
fact,
that last
that
week.
director is fantastic.
Jeff Nichols.
Take Shelter is a masterpiece.
Oh, it is.
Special Shotgun Stories. That guy's awesome.
He's awesome.
Okay, sorry, I had to go back to that one. Next one. This is also very hard. Ending of a movie.
Instantly for me, I guess I'm going for several movies come to mind: The Dark Knight, Blade Runner 2049, Vertigo, Return of the King.
Dude, Return of the King's tough, dude. The Grey Havens bit.
I'm trying to look over here for some.
Hey, Kung Fu Panda 2. That's
Whiplash is amazing. Oh my gosh.
Whiplash is a good ending.
Inception. Oh my goodness. Inception has an amazing ending. Oh my word. And then Taxi Driver. Oh, Taxi Driver every time freaks me out when he looks back in his rear view mirror, and then he just keeps driving straight. And that
Dark Knight as well. They give you that cool line.
Yeah, Dark Knight.
And the Batman Begins.
Oh yeah, and he flies off.
And I love his line to Rachel. And I love his 2 lines to Gordon. Gordon says, "I didn't thank you," and he says, "You'll never have
You'll
to."
never have to.
And then he says, "We've got this new guy," and he shows him the Joker card, and he goes, "I'll look into it." And he goes, I'm like, "That's Batman, baby."
Yeah. Oh man, I remember that. Oh, another. Okay, can I say this great line?
Yeah.
Even though a great line from is Ra's al Ghul's line to him, then later Bruce Wayne
Yes.
says to him, "Always be aware of your surroundings."
Yes.
That's a great line. Just because not only for the context of the film, but also kind of for life. It's actually kind of good advice.
You get a lot of good lines in Nolan movies.
Oh yeah, for sure. What do you are you looking for endings? Paris, Texas has an amazing ending.
Yeah, the scene.
And there is a line in Warrior, but it's from a book. When Nick Nolte's finally he got drunk
I haven't
again.
seen that. I need to see that.
There's a powerful scene with Nick Nolte and Tom Hardy in Warrior, and Nick Nolte is quoting Moby Dick, and he's drunk.
I gotta check that
Dude,
one
yeah.
out. Oh, I think that's on Netflix. Actually, I gotta give it a watch.
I may take back my favorite movie line because it's a quote. It's a quote.
Yeah.
But it's from a movie. It's one of my favorite movies called The Gray with Liam Neeson.
Oh, with Liam Neeson in the Wolves,
Yes,
right?
powerful movie. The poem in that film, Into the
I
Fray.
gotta watch that too.
The poem from that film is one of the most powerful things. If I ever get a tattoo, that will be my tattoo. Is Into the Fray.
Harrison's gonna get it on his face. Yeah.
I can see that.
Drive also has an amazing ending.
Yes.
Have you ever seen A History of Violence with Vigo?
I love History of Violence.
Oh, that ending's when they're all at the dinner table and it's just like, what do
Yep.
we do now? And then it just bam cuts. to
William
black.
Hurt was in that movie for 5 minutes and got an Oscar nomination.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. He's
Deserved it.
yeah. He's terrifying.
Mhm.
There's so many great endings. Oh my gosh. What was yours, Harrison? Are we? Oh yeah, we were still on me. Sorry. What's yours?
Did you pick one?
Every single one I mentioned. But if I'm going for my favorite ending, it's The Dark Knight. That's my
Okay.
favorite.
I mean, they literally say The Dark Knight at the end of it.
Yeah. So that's mine.
Okay, I was thinking.
Oh, wait, hold on.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. In the Mood for Love also has one of the best endings of all time. You need to
That's
watch
Sampley
that
being his film snob self. No.
Wong,
Decalogue.
Wong Kar Wai. No, wait. No, wait.
You don't have it in here because you have it in my house. It's at
That's
my
right. I
house.
was about to look, but you have it. Anyway, I just had to throw that in there. Sorry, Harrison. What's yours?
Okay. Obviously, La La Land's ending is amazing, but we've already talked about that for about 3 hours.
Yes.
So I'm just gonna drop that one. Hidden Life, the ending is just.
Oh.
I mean, I was just crying the whole time. But I will say this: this movie, I watched this movie this year, and I think I've watched enough movies to know like you can usually pick up on what's gonna happen.
Mm-hmm.
'Cause a lot of movies are kind of predictable.
I know what you're talking about.
I watched this movie this year from Alfred Hitchcock, and I gotta say, I was my mouth was on the floor because I was so shocked at what just happened. And it's a movie called Stage Fright.
Yeah.
And I'm not gonna give it
Yeah.
away,
Yeah.
but there is a thing that he got criticized for doing in the movie, and he even himself said it was a misstep in his directing. But I think it actually
love
is a
Yeah.
great choice that I had never even thought of. Because whenever you see something, I can't say specifically, but whenever you see something in a movie that's used, you always just automatically believe it.
Mm-hmm.
And he does something in this movie that makes you automatically believe it, and then at the end it's totally reversed. And I gotta say, Stage Fright just shook me.
Yeah.
as an ending.
Yeah.
That's a
so
great movie.
Oh, I thought of another line just real quick.
Yeah.
All you have to do is learn what to do with the time that is given to you.
Oh, that's
Gandalf.
Great. That's great. Oh my God, Lord of the Rings. We could probably just
Yeah.
pull out the screenplay.
Yeah.
and just read it.
They're beautiful screenplays.
Oh yeah.
ending, Jesse.
Ending. There's a lot of good ones, like we've said. I think the ending of the De Niro Cape Fear when he's drowning and speaking in tongues.
Oh wow.
That's terrifying. I think if I had to pick one, Toy Story 3.
Oh, that's a great one, man.
The movie
That's a
broke
great
me. I
ending.
grew up. Those were my toys, man. I grew up with them. And there was already a hard scene of when they were in the incinerator.
Oh,
I'm sitting here going, "What is happening?"
yeah.
And then the very ending when he says, "So long, partner." Just
Oh yeah. That's a tough one, man. Start crying over toys.
yeah, man.
All right.
what's-
Last question here. I was also thinking about this one this past week. Favorite scene
Favorite
from a
scene.
movie.
Killing me.
Off the top of my head, interrogation scene in The Dark Knight.
That is fantastic, especially when he starts laughing.
Yeah. Recently, or a year ago, I watched The Master for the first time.
The processing scene.
processing scene.
That's
It just blew
up
my
there
mind.
for me. Yeah.
And then also I'd have to go the telephone call and Before Sunrise. That's just beautiful. There's so many. Elevator scene in Drive. That's amazing. A Rear Window. When he finds out and like he falls asleep and then like wakes up again. I just like love James Stewart in that movie. Is so underrated. There's so many great scenes. Manchester by the Sea has a lot of great ones. Let me try to get away from The Dark Knight and Lord of the Rings. Man, this is tough.
You don't have to get away from them if they are your favorite.
They are my favorites.
That's okay.
True.
Let me try to give some love to my movie collection.
Because man, Sam carrying Frodo up Mount Doom is.
Oh my gosh, yeah. That's probably my favorite scene.
I think the Balrog scene is up there too.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
I'm
just adding fuel to the fire.
Paris, Texas, when he's talking to his wife for the first time in like a decade. You know what? Scene. I'm gonna give it to In the Mood for Love, but I'm not gonna spoil it because Harrison hasn't seen it yet. But it's that movie constantly deceives you. It's when, have you ever seen it?
Mm-mm.
Essentially, what happens is it's a Japanese film. It came out 2000 or 2001, and both of these couples move in at the same time, and the husband of one and the wife of one realize that their spouses are having an affair. And then as they're like tailing them and investigating them and stuff like this and figuring out what to do, they end up falling in love. And there's a great moment in the film where they kind of say, we can't do this because then we'll be just like them, even though you're just like, but you guys are made for each other. It's so powerful. It's just the way it's shot, and the score is amazing. I highly recommend In the Mood for Love. I'm pretty sure Wong Kai Wrong did the film. I'm gonna look that up. But Harrison, you take it away. I've talked way too much.
There's 4 of them. It's a Wonderful Life, George and Mary.
Oh, that's great
Sure.
too.
Last of the Moon.
Sure.
What do you want me to do? Last of the Moon for you?
James Dean in Giant When He Strikes Oil.
Okay.
That's
Before Sunrise, when they're in a record store and they're listening to a song. That might be my favorite. And then the last one is from a montage where Javier Bardem is talking into The Wonder, Terrence Malick movie that everybody hates.
That's great too.
So those are my 4. Probably Before Sunrise, the record store scene though is probably my favorite.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a few that stand out to me too. I think the coin toss scene in No Country.
I can't believe I
Oh,
forgot.
yeah.
I think the Indian attack in The Revenant. I
Oh
think it's
wow!
even better than the bear
At
attack.
the beginning?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Oh, dude, that's with where instantly you're watching everything's calm and then the arrow just goes through his like throat.
I think
or
that's
whatever.
even better than the bear attack.
Yeah, I would agree.
I think the processing scene in The Master
Yeah.
is
Oof.
up there. I think those Lord of the Rings has a ton, of course.
Oh yeah. So many.
This is one that's very. I didn't expect it to hit me like it did, and it just blew me away. Was The Memories of Snape?
Oh
in
yeah,
Deathly Hallows Part 2.
Yeah.
I think
Oh.
that is one of the most powerful things
Mhm.
I've ever seen.
yeah.
Alan
right.
Rickman really just
Rest in peace.
killed me in that. That scene is up there.
Yeah.
The Snape memories.
I'm gonna throw another scene up there because I just thought of it. Barry Lyndon, where the gunfight, the draw. Have you seen Barry Lyndon?
Oh yeah. Kubrick.
Where Ryan O'Neal points it away and fires, saying, "Listen, let's come to an agreement. Let's handle this in a way." And the guy who missed the first time just shoots him. He just says, "You know what? I'm not gonna do what you said. I'm just gonna shoot you. I hate you."
Yeah.
And it's just like it's so tense because you don't know what either of them are gonna do.
I'll give you another. The first time you meet Colonel Kurtz in Apocalypse Now.
My word, yes.
There's 3 films, like, whether they're your favorites or not, I think there are 3 films that are tied for all-around best films ever, from acting, writing, directing, everything. I think that's Godfather, to me, Part 1,
Yeah.
and then Apocalypse Now, and I think Return of the King. I think those are the 3 best-made movies ever.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I don't think you can find a flaw.
My
in
favorite
any
scene
of
in
them.
Godfather is when he has to go in the bathroom and find the gun.
And
go out
the train noise starts coming in. And
Yes. Oh my gosh. Oh, also
I like part 2 better.
see, a lot of people do,
Really?
and I love
Yeah.
part 2. But there's something about part 1. I think it's Brando.
Yeah.
I think that's.
I would agree.
I think
I
it's
prefer
Brando.
part 1 a little
And Jimmy
bit more.
Caan. I think Jimmy
Oh,
Caan
yeah,
really
yeah,
helps
yeah,
make
he's
that
great.
great too.
So many. We could probably just continue to talk for an hour, more hours and hours and hours. But
Yeah, you've also got classics. Psycho.
oh my gosh, yeah.
You got classics
Yeah.
that are always going to be good. The Crying Game has a very a scene that is
Is that
very
with Swank?
No, The Crying Game was an Irish-British film that was marketed around how big this twist was.
Oh, okay.
And everyone was like, don't spoil the movie because of this twist. It was
Uh-huh.
nominated for a bunch of Oscars.
I didn't, yeah.
It's an incredible twist. Let's put it that way.
Wow.
The Crying Game.
The crying. What am I? I'm probably thinking Boys Don't Cry. I think
Yeah.
that's what we're
You are.
saying. I am. Thank you.
Yeah.
We could just keep going and going and going and going. But let's see. We've been going for 2 hours and 8 minutes, dude. We just broke record for last week, dude. Congratulations, Harrison.
Maybe people will stay interested.
I think people who love film will, and I think if they crap out halfway, I still get the view, so it doesn't really matter to me.
I'll listen to the whole thing
No,
if I can stand my own voice.
I think you should, man. I think this has been a lot of fun.
Oh yeah.
To those listening, if you haven't watched Mime yet, you need to go watch it right away. I have it on my Facebook page. Jesse has it on his Facebook page. I'm going to try to figure out how to get it on Instagram. Maybe I can just put the link in my bio.
Yeah, try the YouTube link.
I just realized that.
You can watch it on the YouTube channel for Echo Productions as well. It has an E at the end of Echo.
Is there anything else you want to just shout out?
We're starting a series this fall, a mini-series called Noir Nights. That's a mix between the old school Private Eye
That's a great title.
with modern-day realism.
Uh-huh.
Like the Private Eye character is the main character, and he'll stop mid-scene and turn to the camera and monologue. It'll be in black and white, a lot of smoke, haze, very stylized. We have a femme fatale character. We have all kinds of... It's the first series I've ever written. It's a 7-episode mini-series, and we're looking to put it on Prime.
Wow. That's awesome.
Who you got for your lead?
The guy who's co-running the show with me, CJ Christian, who's relatively new to acting, is playing
really?
the lead. And then
And then who's the femme fatale?
the femme fatale, she's from Nashville. Her name is Erica Boozer.
Sweet.
She's actually going to L.A. to shoot in September on a feature.
That's exciting.
So yeah, we got a good mix of local and out of town talent.
That's
awesome.
really exciting.
Yeah.
We've got someone from Huntsville named Duncan Watkins who does a lot with Theater Huntsville here and Evil Cheese.
Oh yeah,
He's playing twins in the show.
that's pretty cool.
Yeah, and so we've got a good eclectic cast, and it's tough because it's a series. I've never done
Yeah.
and the episodes get longer as we go, and it's you're having to balance a line of styles.
Yeah.
But we have real high hopes for that one. Like we're gonna have our own website. Noirnights.com will be the
Sweet.
website. That's where we'll have T-shirts. We'll have all of our videos will be
Sweet.
on there. We're thinking about doing a podcast for the show,
Yeah.
and then
you gotta have us on.
right. Yeah, we'll have a Facebook page for the show,
Dope.
and we'll be on IMDb. And because it's the first name of its kind, it'll be the only noirnights.com, the only Noir Nights on IMDb.
Sweet.
So it's really accessible.
Whenever me and
Noir.
Harrison do a short and put it on IMDb, there's like so many other like with the same title, and it makes you
Yeah.
specific. I'm sure you know.
Yeah.
So
Mime,
we've had
I
to
got
change.
there aren't a whole lot of Mime though.
Really?
Yeah.
People don't like mimes.
They don't.
Jesse, this short may ruin my life. I've had several death threats. They say, "How dare you portray?
How dare you be a
portray
mime?"
They're like, they're too silly.
Well, that just meant you were too good at doing it.
Oh, maybe so.
Think of it like that.
Go watch it, and then Attack's gonna come out sometime soon.
Yeah,
You gotta check it
hopefully
out.
This fall, or if it may premiere officially next year. It
Yeah.
just depends on how the festival circuit goes.
And then the Sampley cut will release, and that's just a cut without Harrison in it. It will just be Kim.
Yeah. Which is going to be hard because we did
It'll be
lots
just
of,
Kim.
2 shots.
Completely split that one clip in half.
All right.
I'd watch that cut.
Yeah,
Sampley
Kim
cut's
is-
going to be Sampley, like, digitally put in my spot.
Yeah. And he won't even be saying anything nearly
No.
what you were saying.
Yeah.
Completely
It's going to be
different
like
dialogue.
all the Kevin James
Oh, his
shorts.
stuff has been on. Have you
Yeah,
seen
but
that?
it's gonna be with
He's
Sampley.
hilarious.
Sampley.
Guys, I just want to say, thank you for having me on.
Mhm.
Let me talk a little bit about movies and stuff. Because, like I said, people don't ask me stuff
No.
much,
Yeah.
you know, and so it's good to talk about it and also to get those films out,
Yeah.
to talk about them. But thank you for wanting to be in them. It
Oh,
means
absolutely.
it means a
yeah.
lot.
Thank
Dude,
you, dude.
When I read the script for Attack, and I've said this and I'll say it again, I was just so impressed.
He was telling me that.
And you know, I mean, and I saw the Sampley sent me the link to Mime, so I saw it, and I was just like, this guy's awesome. I got to work with him. So you got a lot of talent. We're happy to.
Well, I still want to do that idea where we're all three brothers at one point.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, dude,
Yeah.
that's gonna
Absolutely.
be sick. Hey, let's just
Yeah.
shoot it right now.
Yeah, man.
We're all here.
Let's get a flip camera and let's just go.
All right, well, that's been the 5th episode of Once Upon a Time in
I haven't listened to
Huntsville?
any of them, so I don't know.
Yeah, you stink. All right, so this has been a good rehearsal. So
I hope
we'll do
you
the
guys
real one
record
next
soon.
you
week.
guys ready to start it for real?